Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to Ace Attorney. We have one final case in this game. In this series, in fact, actually. We're beginning today. Technically, I would almost consider it more as a continuation of the last case, considering we didn't really resolve the previous case. We got like halfway through it, and then it was just like, yeah, end of case 4. Here's case 5. Which is kind of how case 5 has always felt, but it's kind of weird that they actually went through and split into 2 parts. But I mean, even the games call it the final chapter. So this is it. Feels like a weird thing to actually have finally gotten to the end of this series. Every time I play through any series in this channel, it's like kind of something about it just feels bittersweet getting to the end finally. Especially these longer ones like this in Kingdom Hearts. It's gonna be a bit before we get another series quite like this to play through. I don't know what other like there's some series I'm gonna be playing after this for sure. They're nowhere near as long as like something like Ace Attorney or Kingdom Hearts is gonna be. I don't even know where I'd pull out another series like that that's like worthwhile to marathon everything. But 2 years, 2 and a bit years of streams, and it's finally all led to this moment. So the time's finally come. Today, we unravel everything. Good, that's what I like to see. I'll be counting your support more than ever today, Mr. Sato. She looks just fed up. Mr. Sato? Oh. Yeah, okay. Somebody didn't get any sleep last night, clearly. Oh no, what's the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? I don't know, you tell me why I'm on the floor. You're standing there. Definitely, you know, just tripped over. It's fine. Not your fault at all. Nothing? I was just saying I'll be relying on your support today, but... I'm so sorry. Of course. I know how I can be rather incompetent at times, but... I shan't let you down. Would you mind helping me to my feet then? Oh dear. I'm really very sorry. Sato-san isn't her usual self at all. But that's hardly surprising, I suppose. She's just found out that her father is the partner of the world-famous detective. And not to mention... Good morning, sir. Lord Van Zeeks. Thank you for all your efforts yesterday. Did I hear that correctly? Okay, things are really getting weird if he's thanking us for our help. What? Oh, no, nothing. Just, I hope we can clear things up today. I really can't make this man out. His face says I hate you, but his words are almost jovial today. In fact, he hasn't been very Reaper-like at all since this all began yesterday. Lord Van Zeeks isn't the Reaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Good point. As a Reaper? I suppose in hindsight. I shouldn't have allowed that misconception to go unchallenged. Huh? It was my tacit approach, acceptance of that pseudonym. My failure to stop the Reaper became in something more than a mere legend that led to all this. You're not to blame for that, Lord Van Zeeks. It's only because serious crime in the capital dropped off so sharply when the public started calling you that. That's why you didn't say anything, isn't it? To be frank, I'm not sure that was the sole reason. What do you mean? There was a rumor at the time that the Reaper was really the ghost of my late brother. That having been slain by that evil killer, Clint's restless spirit returned as some sort of demigod, to wield the deadly blade of justice where I, by dint of the law, could not. Yes, we've heard that story too. When I lost him, I felt as though I'd lost my guiding light. I didn't know where to go or what to do. And so, in some small way, I wonder if perhaps those rumors made me feel his absence a bit less keenly. Even if I knew it was all just an illusion, just some nonsense conjured by an over-imaginative public. He was obviously extremely important to you. Lord Clint Van Zeeks. Well, what's important now is uncovering the truth. That's all that matters. I know that you didn't take anyone's life. And I intend to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt in court today. I never thought I'd say this, but I can see it in your eyes. That burning desire to cut through all the lies and deception. I can't deny it any longer. You are a lawyer of absolute integrity. Thank you. Now tell me, why do I detect the scent of expensive tea leaves in the air? Oh, Iris, when did you get here? Oh. Oh, I brought you one of my special blends. Holly loves it. He says it helps him to clear his head. Thank you. Oh. That's surely the first and last time I'll ever see a sight like this. You seem different today, Iris. Oh? Sort of subdued, I suppose. I am not. What happened yesterday is obviously still playing on her mind a lot. She's clearly very troubled about having stolen that autopsy report from Dr. Sykes' laboratory. Alright then. Good luck to you both. I have to make a move now. That's a little suspicious considering you're pointing a gun when you say that. That brings a whole different context to that sentence. Oh, you're not staying? I thought you'd want to watch today's proceedings. Well, I'd like to cheer you on, obviously. But I've got lots to get ready. Get ready? For what? Oh yes. Would you take this? Isn't that one of the little felt dolls that's usually dangling from your knapsack? Yes, it's a lucky charm. A little Hurley that I made once. Hurley? That's more like a Hairley to me. If for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can. What? Pull his ears? That's right. It's a way to bring good luck. I think you might need it. A little doll of Mr. Sholmes in hair form. Been told to tuck its ears if I run out of options in the trial today. You think what we'll need is luck? I just sneaked a peek inside the courtroom. And it seemed very different to normal. Yes, it would seem as that a certain someone has decided to pull out all the stops. What does that mean? What about Mr. Sholmes, Iris? I don't know. He was out all night and hadn't come home by the time I left this morning. Oh, I see. What if he's dead? Was Professor Mikotoba out all night too, do you think, Mr. Sato? Yes, it would seem so. So I telegrammed the hotel this morning. And apparently they didn't come back to their rooms last night at all. They? Father and Judge Jigoku, I mean. Judge Jigoku too? That's right. Nobody appears to have seen either of them since yesterday. Counsel for the defense and defendant. Court is about to begin in session. Please make your way inside the courtroom at once. Good luck there, Bruno. Good luck, Susie. Yeah, thanks, Iris. And you, Mr. Reaper. I hope it goes well. Once again, I thank you for the delicious tea. It was very soothing. Oh, I'm so glad. You must go inside now, Lord Van Zeeks. Lord Van Zeeks has always been the formidable prosecutor I've had to lock horns with in court. But not today. Today I battle with another in pursuit of the truth. My best friend, Kazuma Asogi, who I trust more than anyone else in the world. Now I understand what it was that drew me here to Britain all those months ago. Now I know exactly what destiny had in store for me. It's all been leading up to this one day, to this one trial. This one final reckoning. So I wonder if this is really going to be it, or if we're still going to get, like, another case somehow tied into this. Are we missing someone? It feels even more oppressive here than it did yesterday. A cold stare is piercing me like knives from all sides today. Mr. Naruhodo, look! Oh! Okay, that's not the twist I expected. Usually we get, like, a final act, prosecutor twist. Where, like, you know, the big bad comes and beats the prosecutor to replace the old one. But I guess we kind of already had Kazuma as the replacement, so replacing again might be kind of awkward. But we've never had a judge get replaced. That's a new one. Lord Strongheart. Kazuma must have known this beforehand. The ramifications of the trial now extend far beyond the murder of one Scotland Yard inspector. In fact, events have come to light that threaten to rock the very foundations of our country's legal system. The escape of a condemned criminal on the night of the execution, the subsequent unlawful shooting of the man, and the revelation that the prison staff must have been complicit in the jailbreak. Britain is currently hosting influential members of the judiciary from countries all around the world. It is imperative that we uncover the truth in these proceedings to avoid international embarrassment. By royal decree, this will continue to be a closed trial, and one over which I, Male Strongheart, exercise total and unequivocal authority. Wait, is he judge and jury? God, I hope he's not executioner too. The 6 jurors' flames just... As was the case in yesterday's proceedings, those here present in the public gallery are distinguished members of our judiciary, assembled to bear witness to a fair judicial process. In other words, a collection of your acolytes, Lord Strongheart. On a personal note, I find this most distressing, Lord Van Zieks. You were a prosecutor of exceptional talent. Much like your brother Clint, in fact. Ooh, that's a different sound. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. For the trial of Baroque Van Zieks, who officially stands accused of murder. Counsels for the prosecution and defense. You are in full readiness to proceed. Defense is ready, my lord. As is the prosecution. Yesterday's proceedings brought to light a shocking and disturbing fact. There was a side to the victim, Inspector Tobias Gregson, that was unknown to his superiors at Scotland Yard. Yes, he was carrying out operations in secret, which Scotland Yard knew nothing about. And in those clandestine operations, he had an accomplice. Mr. Dooley Vigil, who would be given the inspector's identification, and present himself around the capital in order to establish credible alibis for Gregson. In that way, Gregson appeared to be carrying out his regular Scotland Yard work when in fact he wasn't. At the end of yesterday's session, Mr. Vigil, who had been suffering from amnesia, regained his memory. It would appear he buried his memories of the time deep inside himself as a means of self-preservation. Because whilst he was engaged as a chief warder at Berkeley Prison, he abetted the convict's escape. Mr. Vigil is currently recuperating at St. Sinners. He's recovered enough strength to give a signed statement about his motives on the day prior to the incident. He's formally admitted to posing as Gregson whilst investigating the Red Haired League. Which brings us to the crucial issue of the victim's time of death. The defense yesterday proposed a suggestion that the victim may have been killed one day earlier. This was based largely on the discovery that the victim's pocket watch had not been wound. The prosecution has something to report on that subject, my lord. Really? Go ahead, Professor Osoki. I met once again with the coroner yesterday to discuss the issue. She confirmed that the defense's suggestion could not be ruled out. It's entirely possible that Inspector Gregson was killed on the 31st of October, the day before his body was discovered. I have here an updated autopsy report that includes the amended details. But the official opinion of the investigation team was made clear yesterday. That the time of the death was 5 p.m. on 1st November. There are indications of an attempt to disguise the real time of death, however. It seems that the natural decaying process of the victim's body may have been slowed by keeping it chilled. That's out of the question. There are no refrigeration devices in that part of London large enough to accommodate a human corpse. My lord, this is more than just conjecture. There's evidence to support the idea. We must investigate it thoroughly. Very well. The court will accept the new report as evidence. However, if this updated report is deemed to be accurate, it would give renewed significance to the movements of the victim on the day before the Fresno Street incident. It would, yes. Especially since on that day, Inspector Gregson was using Mr. Vigil to cover up his real movements. It's conceivable that he was killed in the course of his secret activities. Do I sense that the prosecution has some information regarding those activities? Scotland Yard put an enormous effort into investigating that precise matter yesterday. I think we should begin by presenting the results of that investigation work. So the prosecution calls its first witness now. State your name and occupation for the court. Inspector Gina Lestrade reporting. Representative of Scotland Yard. A self-conferred rank, but never mind. Gina? Again? What's your problem, Otto? What's with that Gina again? Look, eh? The boss meant the world to me. He done more to me than everyone else did. Oh? Inspector Gregson, you mean? He got me out the back slums of the East End and took me under his wing. Taught me that life can have a purpose. So that's why I'm the best person to be standing there speaking for him. Oh, Gina. Right. All out of the goodness of Gregson's heart. Not at all that he had his arm twisted by Mr. Sholmes. No. What's relevant to these proceedings is that the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations yesterday has revealed that the victim was carrying out some assignment the police knew nothing about. Very troubling. That face. What Strongheart knew. So, Inspector Lestrade, let's hear exactly what it says in that report. Alright, so how long until we have to call Strongheart to the stand? And then accuse him of murder? Coming right up, sir. Will we finally get to accuse the judge of murder? All yard detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. But they'll search of the boss's office, turn up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealings that day. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is, this witness is what saw the Reaper at that place too. Smuggled goods? I don't know, do I? I'm just telling you what was written in the book. Tobacco, tea, spices, medicines, goods of all sorts flow into London by illegal channels from across the globe. It's well known that they're disposed of at regular black markets that take place in the capital. But the police are rarely able to locate them in time. So Inspector Gregson was investigating one of those black markets. It's been suggested that high-ranking government officials may be involved in black market activity. No doubt Gregson was trying to avoid details of his investigations being leaked into the involved parties. It would explain why he was operating on his own authority, without the Yard's knowledge. And do we know where the dealings were taking place this time? In a particular room of a certain exclusive London gentlemen's club. And on the day in question, the accused is known to have been there. That's the conclusion of Scotland Yard's investigation into the matter. It can't be. We haven't heard anything about this. Members of the club have testified to it. There's no question. The accused, Barack Van Ziegs, was present. That'd be very significant testimony then. Oh my, but... Lord Van Ziegs has made no mention of this at all. In short, Lord Van Ziegs has ample opportunity to murder the victim. Very well then, counsel for the defense, begin your cross-examination. So, you follow orders, do you, Gina?
No, not me. I'm above all that, see?
Ah, good choice, Gina. No perjury today. Oh.
Boss always had special orders for me. Grab us some fish and chips, or go and give Toby his grub, that kind of thing.
So, errands more than orders, then. This detective is still an apprentice, after all.
Yeah, well, this apprentice ain't one to be sitting around waiting to be told what to do, even by the boss. That's why I've been doing my own investigations into what happened. Well, I didn't find much at first.
So you went through Inspector Gregson's things?
Yep, as part of the independent Lestrade investigation.
I'm sure your superiors would be delighted that you're taking the initiative.
So I was talking to his office when no one else was about. Of course, if anyone at the yard had seen me going in there, they'd have turfed me straight onto the street.
This is sounding less and less like an investigation and more like something else. The prosecution understands that it was this very detective who discovered the notebook.
You got that right. Nothing gets past Inspector Lestrade and a trusty assistant, Chief Inspector Toby. We found it hidden in one of the desk drawers that had a false bottom.
That's impressive.
So then I wanted to hide myself where no one could find me, so I'd have a butcher's at what was written in it. Of course, if anyone at the yard had found me out, I'd have turfed me straight out on the street. I've given it in now, though, hadn't I? And if it weren't for me, it would have never been found.
Do you have any idea where those dealings were taking place?
Yep, it was all there in Boss's notes. Let's see if I can remember.
As I already said, the illegal dealings were due to take place at a gentleman's club. Yes, I remember, but I was hoping to find out the name of the club. Well, that won't be necessary. What? What's conceivable that the club might be used again by the smugglers in the future? Therefore, the prosecution has been asked not to reveal the name in these proceedings.
I don't know what all the fuss is about. It's right here. All you gotta do is read it out. And I could too. I got this reading game buttoned up right now. Can't I show you what I can do? Go on, what's the arm?
Well, the judge hasn't signaled his objection yet. I could try to find out. What should I do? No, I think it's important that we know this name. Kind of weird to be concealing the name. This is a closed court. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of the information being leaked. As I explained, there is some possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. The prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. No, my lord. The prosecution has no objection. Kazuma? There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into these black market dealings. However, it's not yet been established that he was on that particular trail on the day in question. If the defense requires to know the club's name, the prosecution has no intention of being obstructive.
What then? I get to show off my reading skills.
She's so excited about this.
Apparently, the smuggled goods deal was going to happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse.
Is that grouse? I guess it'd be gross. The Grouse? What sort of club is that?
Oh, I got the foggiest. Clubs ain't exactly my thing. But I am kind of curious.
They're not places where a foreign student like you would be readily admitted. Have you looked into the mirror recently? He never said he would be admitted either.
I'll tell you what. Me and Chief Inspector Toby could go in undercover.
And, how do you think you're going to do that? She probably should learn what a gentleman's club is first. Could you, though?
I could pick out a few good marks and see what else I can find while I was in there.
I really don't think you should go picking out anything. Anyway, that's where these black market dealings were going to take place, is it?
Yeah, it's gotta be. That's what the lower-ranking detectives at the yard reckon.
Says the even lower-ranking detective.
Hold it!
So how would Inspector Gregson come to find out about it in that case?
What's the question, ain't it? Well, I'm just an apprentice, so...
And why didn't he inform Scotland Yard of his findings?
Yeah, that's what I was asking myself. Cause, you know, I'm just an apprentice.
When it suits you, yes.
Anyway, the point is, something went on in that club, no question.
Well, you can't say that for certain, though, surely.
Hold it!
Lord Van Zeeks was at the club?
He was. Detectives who visited the club yesterday to make inquiries have confirmed it. Several members have reported having seen the accused being admitted to the room in question as a guest.
Looks like there's no disputing that he was there then.
Well, we know that Lord Van Zeeks was investigating Inspector Gregson, don't we? Perhaps he had already discovered the Inspector's secret notebook.
Which led him to the club, you mean? Maybe. Presumably then there are also eyewitnesses who can testify that Gregson was there.
None have been identified at this time, no.
So the all-important victim wasn't seen at this mysterious club.
Boy, why ain't you asking Inspector Lestrade here, eh?
That's all I've got to work with. Gina's not holding back with that ice-cold stare of hers, is she?
I really don't know what to make of all this.
Lord Van Zeeks told us that he was investigating Inspector Gregson. But he never once mentioned that he met the inspector the day before the incident.
You don't think Lord Van Zeeks could have been lying to us, do you?
Well, that's not the only way to explain this.
Oh.
If everything Lord Van Zeeks has told us is true, then there must be a mistake in this testimony somewhere.
You mean, there are details we've yet to uncover?
Exactly. A clue, perhaps, that even Gina hasn't noticed. That's what we should be looking for here. Well, we do have that new statement. This one, right? Yeah. Can we take a look at that notebook? No. It's not in the court record yet. How about this bunny? Might be a little early to tug on its ears, but... Is there anything we can do with it?
What a charming little rabbity version of Mr. Sholmes. Do you suppose this is how Iris sees him? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Your eyes are veritably boring into the poor doll's ears.
Oh, sorry. I was just wondering, what do you suppose would happen if I were to tug its ears with all my might right now?
I'm sure that we'll find out when the time is right. To become a proper gentleman, you really must learn stoic patience. I want to know.
My guess is you'll probably just rip it in two. Smuggled goods deal was happening at a gentleman's club called the Grouse. Like, as if we'd have anything that would... The only weird thing we picked up yesterday was this trunk. How do we open it? There we go. There's a couple of things in here. Does this have to do with the deal? Look, there's something inside.
Ooh, let's see. It appears to be a passport, authorizing him to travel overseas.
Was Inspector Gregson about to go on a trip abroad then?
Well, perhaps the day of departure might tell us something. That was... oh.
What is it?
It was for travel on 31st October. Just one day before the incident.
What? Really? Gregson went to France the day before his body was discovered. Do we already... No, we don't have that... Oh, the passport's here, okay. Day departure, 1 week, 31st October. Destination port of Dunkirk, France. Police business. Wish for the applicant and 1 additional person to travel. Okay, anything in here about... Big job and all the coppers weren't onto yet. As witnesses saw Reaper's place. This is what happened at the 31st, right? This deal was supposed to go down on the 31st, but so that's why they thought that Gregson was there, but he obviously wasn't because he has a passport for a trip on that same day. Was it this one that kind of mentioned the date? I just want to see. Let's get it into the log and then we can look through it more easily. History. Okay, false bottom, yeah, whatever. It's not really any mention of a time frame in context of investigating this black market. Huh. Coppers weren't onto it yet. Witnesses who saw the Reaper at the place too. I mean, this statement could be a red herring. We had one recently. This would be my other choice. So Zeeks was apparently at the club. Detectives visited the club yesterday making queries have confirmed it. Several members report having seen the accused being admitted to the room in question as a guest. It's likely that Zeeks was following Gregson around. I guess time isn't really a factor in this one. Eyewitnesses confirmed Gregson was there, and then they become silent on that, which means they probably... Yeah, they couldn't confirm he was there. Okay. Overman Zeeks told us that he was investigating Inspector Gregson, but he never once mentioned that he met the inspector the day before the incident. Right, because he probably didn't. Because the inspector was down in France. If everything Lord Van Zeeks has told us is true, then there must be a mistake in this testimony somewhere. So it's got to be the passport to prove that he wasn't at the club. But I'm just trying to think of like what's the best statement to pin this on. I mean, it's probably this one.
Objection.
No. Okay, so this is probably a false statement. I think the passport is the correct evidence. Oh, very cold and calculating judge, this one. Not being around the bush here. It's like no contradiction, penalty. Witnesses who saw the Reaper at the place too. Can we disprove that? I don't see how we could disprove that specifically. Because the only thing we got out of there was the passport. I mean, there's the evidence of like something scratching the trunk, but I don't know what that's for yet. So the passport seems... for the applicant and one additional person. Like, one could look at that passport and be like, oh, look, this guy was going to go down and investigate this thing. He brought someone with him to investigate an international smuggling ring. I mean, that might be, you know, twisting the facts a little bit. My little postulation never hurt no one. I don't think we can disprove that anyone saw Barack there. Smuggled goods deal is going to happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse. But it's not the passport there. Where else would we have, like, evidence supporting any of this? I'm surprised we can't look at the book. This is the old autopsy report. Definitely useless to us right now. Was there anything else in here? Does this thing also have a false bottom? Maybe a false top? Nothing I can click on. It's really only for the passport in this scratch. Have you seen this huge gash across the side of the trunk here? It's gone right through the leather and into the metal behind. Gosh, for a metal chest like this to have been so badly damaged, whatever made the gash must have struck the side of the trunk with considerable force. Wonder how it happened. Traveling trunk was removed from the scene but subsequently recovered by Gina. Like, if it is this new statement, what else would we even put there? How do we, like, show that's not the Grouse if it's not the passport? Because, I mean, yeah, thinking about it now, the passport doesn't really say anything. I don't know what other evidence we could have that supports something like this. I mean, could it be related to this? Or are we jumping the gun with this? I feel like we already exhausted this whole thing. That's to do with Mikotoba, so I don't think that's going to be helpful. Police business. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. Could that be the passport? Because if it's saying police business, I mean, that could just be Gregson, you know, saying that for the sake of it, for an easy passport. But that would, if assuming it's done truthfully, that would 100% contradict this.
Objection.
Okay. That was a bit of a long shot, but I don't know, something about the passport seems like the proper evidence here, but Mrs. saw the Reaper at that place too. Okay, what was our goal from this? Well, Red League told us that he was investigating Inspector Gregson, but he never once mentioned he met the inspector the day before the incident. Okay, so I guess we're supposed to take the idea that Zeke's went to the club. That's to be the truth. The lie here, or the mistake here, is that Gregson was also at the club. But where do we show that Gregson wasn't at the club? clue perhaps even Gina hasn't noticed. Then it has to be the passport. Because she never opened that case, did she? I don't think she did. That would 100% be a clue that she's never noticed because she didn't want anyone tampering with the case. Coppers weren't on it yet. Matters most of his witnesses saw the Reaper at the place too. Could it be this one?
Objection.
Ah, okay. Starting to think this passport is not the answer. I mean, I'm starting to think there might be a detail or something that I've forgotten in the last week. Oh, whoops, I need to go that way. Okay, let's see. Lord Van Zeek told us he was investigating the inspector, but he didn't mention that he met the inspector the day before the incident. So the day before the incident being October 31st, because that's the day we assume he actually died, versus the first where it was stated. Oh no, the incident would probably still be the first, even though he died on the 31st. If everything he said is true, there's a mistake in the testimony somewhere. Clue perhaps even Gina hasn't noticed. That clue has to be the passport. We'll search boss office term notebook that had a lot of secret meetings in it.
Hold it.
I think this one just talks about the false bottom and all that. Yeah. So look, a good deal was going to happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse. Is there other evidence that I haven't found yet? I don't think this is gonna have anything. It's just his ID card after all. Yeah, it looks normal to me. Can't even read it anyway, so I'm assuming that's not relevant. And the only other, like, mildly suspicious thing is this thing being written on a ship ticket, but that is definitely not relevant because it's Miko Topaz. So that leaves us with the box. I don't think we need to present the box. Because what does that prove? Like, okay, so he took a box with him. Like, why? To investigate an undercover smuggling ring? Why would you need this box? I guess the other thing too with the passport is all it does is proves that he went on a trip. I mean, it does show that he was out of town, or he was supposed to be out of town, but that doesn't mean he didn't necessarily go to the club. Good job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. Witnesses saw the Reaper at place 2. Did I try this statement with that one?
Objection.
Well, I did now. Witnesses who saw the Reaper at the place 2. I mean, is that possibly a lie? I don't see how that could be a lie. It's gotta be the passport. It's the only, like, newish, relevant evidence that we have at the moment. The obvious thing would have been picking the new statement, but we tried that up. First thing. I feel like this is all hinging on some detail that I've forgotten about, but I'm trying to like think about all the evidence that Gina wouldn't have seen. I mean, she had the box, so maybe she did see the passport in it. It's taking this testimony. Clue that even Gina hasn't noticed. Is pressing any of these a second time give us something? No, there's nothing in here. Big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. We don't know how he came onto it. And we can't investigate the board, right? Oh, we can. Is there anything on here that we've discovered? I mean, a lot of this is old cases, so... Newspaper cutting here, okay. Yeah, it's the Redhead League advertisement. I mean, that's kind of a club. I don't know if they have a gentleman's club. That was just, I think, more so for the Black Eddie handprint, which we already explained. Moved from the scene but subsequently recovered by Gina. Almost like she knew what was in there already, which makes me think the passport's not the answer because she already knew about it. Well, she certainly wouldn't know about this rabbit. Could it be this autopsy report now that we've discovered when indeterminate? I don't know if this is gonna be the thing, because the timeline is what we're trying to figure out right now. And it would be evidence that even she wouldn't be privy to, because we did get the updated autopsy report. Maybe that's what they want. They want you to be the one to dish out the updated autopsy report that the police don't have yet. Witnesses saw the Reaper at that place too. I don't think there's any disproving that.
it!
The statement was about, yeah, the club, but not really anything important. I mean, I wish you went undercover right now so you could figure out what the fuck was going on in there. Okay. Smuggled goods deal was going to happen at Jellen's club called the Grouse. Do we have anywhere else? What if this trunk is full of smuggled goods? Aside from the passport. It does kind of just look like his own belongings, though. There's blood and stuff here, too. So he was obviously shot. Maybe he was shot on his way to Paris. Huh. And then there's the big scratch here, but who knows what that means. Did she know about the blood? Maybe she didn't know about the blood.
Objection!
No. I mean, it'd be kind of hard to not see blood stain like that, right? Okay, detectives supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. Smuggled goods at the Grouse. Okay, well, if his most recent post was about the Red-Haired League, could it be about this?
Objection!
We don't have a lot of evidence pertaining to Greg's himself. It seems like more of our evidence pertains to the case from 10 years ago. Can't believe I'm getting stumped on the first puzzle here. I'm like actually not sure what it wants from this. It's got to be the chest or the passport. I want to say it's the passport because I feel like that's the one thing she wouldn't have known about. All this other stuff is like past details, so like why would they know about this? There wasn't anything fancy about the clock except that it just needs to be wound up. Yeah, like this is old, this old. This one's new. That's newish too. This is the autopsy report. The accurate estimation that time of death is not possible. Okay, cool. That would be new information. But not once in her testimony does she mention when Gregson was shot. We got firecrackers, the photo, identification. We used a ID card yesterday. So that leaves us with the trunk and the passport, because this is not useful, and this is like some extra thing for later, I'm guessing. It's gonna be like the final presentation. Passport document as Inspector Gregson. This mentions time specifically, and the testimony doesn't mention time, so it could be the box, or a specific attribute of the box. Did I try the trunk on this statement? Why would this be real then? What does the scratch or the bloodstain prove here? It's like only go down at night? I don't know. I have to actually look this one up because I'm actually stumped. Like, it feels like I'm probably missing a key piece of fact or something from like last week that I just completely forgotten. Gentlemen's Club called the grouse. Is there like some wordplay here that I need to do? Because like if she's not very good at reading, I wonder if she like misread it. The grouse, the goose, the grass, the. It was in the park or something, right? Large park on Lime Street. No. It's just called the park. Gentlemen's Club called the grouse. The grouse. Blackbird line. Well, that's a ship. Could the grouse be a ship? Where's the passport? But we already tried the passport on this one.
Objection!
No fucking shot was this. The only thing this has in common with the grouse is that they're both mentioned birds. This one's stupid, but I like it. I had to like I don't even know if I'm thinking of this in the right way, but just like her mentioning a bird made me think like, okay, well, she brags about having just learned how to read. Maybe she's fucking up. What's another bird? Do we have anything bird related in here? We have the Blackbird ship ticket. Oh, I can't wait to see this one. I read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. As I understand it, they're places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with friends and colleagues. Don't imagine for a second that a foreign student like you would be admitted. Seriously, is your mirror cracked or something? Do we know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening at a club called the Grouse? The police are currently looking for evidence, but haven't found anything definitive yet. And I'm sorry to say that they probably won't. What do you mean by that? I mean that the place Inspector Gregson was secretly going to visit on 31st of October may not have been a gentleman's club at all. You're starting to show a very irreverent attitude towards our country's police force there, Counsel. Clearly he hasn't been present for a lot of these court proceedings in the past. If it wasn't a gentleman's club, Then where was it? A steamship. You think it's a ship. I have the evidence to prove it. Here. Let me see that. This dark-suited young man is not the least bit untrustworthy. The other side, my lord. Be more specific next time. Ah. This would appear to be a ticket for passage upon a steamship, yes. This is grouse. Oh, did it say the grouse on it? Did it actually say grouse on it? I was just like thinking like the connection because they are both birds. I didn't even see that said. I looked at this ticket about it. Blackbird line. Oh, maybe if I actually clicked on it, it would say something. Did we not click on this one previously? Sometime in the past? Looks like some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Grouse. First class cabin 001. Ah, there it is. Well, that's a little more straightforward than I originally thought it was going to be. Yeah, I don't know. I thought we clicked on this evidence before in the past. You would think it would have, like, updated it or something, but no, I guess not. Yokohama departure 11th September, London arrival 1st of November. That's the boat Professor Mikotoba and Judge Jigoku came on from Japan, isn't it? Yes, I think it called at Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover. God, I think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Burdia. So it seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think?
Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary.
And I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, how strange. Where could it have gone?
Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo?
Did I imagine it? Or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? See, it doesn't update the evidence. It just says it's a steamship thing. Well, whatever. That's fair. If I clicked on it, I would have known instantly. I like my train of thought more, though. This is gross.
Objection.
So, there's a steamship named the Grebs that happens to share a name with the club. But I'm afraid to say, there's a flaw in your logic there. He's very insistent that this is a club. How? Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in port. The ship arrived in Port of Dover on 1st of November. Ah. The day in which the sound like a gunshot was heard from Fresno Street. In other words, on the day in question here, the 31st of October, when the victim was on his clandestine mission, that ship hadn't yet docked on British shores. That would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging.
Objection.
The fact that the steamship hadn't yet reached Britain substantiates the defense's assertion that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the day in question. Then show you evidence for that assertion. Very well. In that case, counsel for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence that substantiates your claim that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on 31st October. There it is.
Take that.
What's this? A passport for travel issued to the victim? Dated 31st of October. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that just one day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility he wasn't even in the country. Order! Order! This document is for passage to France. It does appear to have been officially authorized. The day before the SS Grouse arrived in Dover, it docked on the northern coast of France for a night.
According to my father, who was on board at the port of Dunkirk.
Dunkirk, France. What could possibly have taken the victim there? I'm impressed, Ridenosuke Naruhodo. I certainly didn't think you'd get your hands on that passport. What? You mean you knew about this? The prosecution's strategy for this trial has been laid down by the Crown Prosecution Office. On the day before the incident, the victim was investigating contraband dealings at a London club.
That's the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations and the line the prosecution has been asked to follow. But personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecutor's office is trying to hide something. What? And now that you've expertly disproven their assertion, I intend to reveal what I believe that something to be. What are you playing at, Prosecutor Asoki? A courtroom is a forum for the truth, my lord. Which is why it's my duty to present all the facts, without exception. Let me guess. This was your intention from the outset, wasn't it? The reason Inspector Gregson secretly made his way to the steamship docked in France on the day in question was to carry out a mission for the Reaper.
The Reaper? What, are you implying that Gregson was the Reaper?
Order! Order! What on earth are you saying, counsel? The prosecution made an assertion in the court yesterday. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand.
So you imply it's a suicide then?
But in reality, the truth is the opposite of that.
What?
Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was, in fact, acting for the Reaper.
So you're saying the mission he was undertaking was...
Obviously, an assassination. Brock Van Zieks never carried out any of the actual killings. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had to cast out an alibi. Which tells us that he must have had an accomplice. And you claim that was Inspector Gregson.
What the hell you think you're saying, eh? What, boss? We'd never have done nothing like that.
And yet, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense.
It can't be. We also arrived at the same conclusion, didn't we? That Inspector Gregson was operating as the Reaper.
Even so, there's no way that the person giving him his orders was Lord Van Zieks. No, the true Reaper is somebody else. Brock Van Zieks is not the Reaper.
A predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man.
And even if it's true that Gregson was operating as an agent of the Reaper, the suggestion that he went aboard the SS Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't follow at all.
Oh? You have some solid reason for doing the SS Urshan, do you, counsel?
Absolutely. It's very simple. On the day in question, nobody was killed aboard that steamship. Professor Mikotoba and Judge Jigoku were on that very ship. Someone had been assassinated. I'm certain they would have heard about it. What's so funny? You're right, of course. No suspicious deaths were reported on board the ship.
But I think perhaps you've missed the point. Well, that's precisely why Inspector Gregson himself lost his life.
What?
Gregson did board the SS Grouse that night with the intention of dispatching his mark. But his mission ended in failure.
Failure?
What seems that the defense hasn't yet grasped a very important detail here.
What are you talking about?
What detail? Inspector Gina Lestrade.
What?
The victim's notebook you had read an excerpt from earlier. That doesn't contain details of secret investigations at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of the Bailey.
You're lying. Even if all them bludgers what got taken out and had it coming. The boss wasn't the Reaper. Poor Gina.
There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. You may just be an apprentice, but if you spent any time at Scotland Yard, you must have heard rumors.
Oh, I heard nothing. And I don't believe a word of it.
Then testify again. As a representative of Scotland Yard, consider it your chance to defend your boss.
Oh, I do.
I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will now tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook.
And we can't just see the secret notebook. Why? I feel like that would make it a lot easier in this game of telephone.
Yeah, this notebook does have a lot of stuff in it about what the Reaper got up to the past 10 years. Names of victims, dates and places and stuff. And the last entry in there was the 31st of October. The grouse for the place on that date, and then the name of the mark. There was a note about him being a criminal walk all the way from the Reaper in court 10 years ago, Summit. Well, honest, the boss did none of it. It was just investigating the Reaper, that's all.
Someone who got away 10 years ago. Do we know anyone like that? Fits that description?
Keep personal opinion out of your testimony, witness. We require an established fact here.
It's supposed to be so hard for her.
You can't deny it now, surely. You do know Skate Naruhodo.
What can I deny?
The notebook contained the name of the final mark, and the location where the assassination would take place. That's the information that the victim could only have known if he was working with the Reaper. So, who was to be this final mark? Go ahead, Inspector Lestrade. Read the name for the court. The name that's written alongside the entry that mentions the grouse on the 31st of October.
It's gonna be Zeke's. The final mark is gonna be Zeke's. Or her. I could see it being her. Although, not really sure what the motive for that would be. Oh no, she was in court and she got away. Obvious. Could still be Zeke's though.
Oh, how do you read this then?
He's still not her strong suit.
They did the problem alright, Otto. It's a funny name. What ain't English? It's hard to read.
So it's someone from overseas.
Let me have a bash at it. Is it? Yeah, say Ciro. Jig oh Q? Maybe?
What? It can't be. Seishiro Jigoku?
But that's Judge Jigoku.
Oh no, he's dead, isn't he? Someone else picked up the slack. He's totally dead.
Seishiro Jigoku. Certainly not an English name, you're right.
Objection.
But that can't be right. I know Judge Jigoku, and I saw him the day before yesterday here in London. So I know for a fact the man hasn't been assassinated.
As I said, the Reaper failed. Oh. Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and return to British shores. But the Reaper wouldn't tolerate the mistake, so he killed the inspector. Personally.
And then he finished the job off or just let him go free? I mean, they didn't call back yet. I bet you we're gonna have to go investigate their bodies.
The Reaper, of course, being the accused, Barak Van Zeeks. It's an undeniable logical argument.
Kazuma, you planned for the trial to go this way all along, didn't you?
Hold it.
He has his wine. And the foot! God, imagine seeing this in 3D on the DS.
I forgive you this courtesy of filling my hollow chalice whilst I stand accused of murder. Lord Van Zeeks! The accused has no right to speak uninvited in court. You will return to the dock. I say nothing of whether or not I'm the Reaper. That's the task of this court to decide. But there's one thing I can say unequivocally.
That girl is no detective.
Eh? What? No, that's right. I ain't. I'm an inspector.
Repeating rumors heard around the yard. Reading entries from a notebook of unconfirmed origin. That's not testimony, it's practically a script. No doubt the rest of this story will go exactly as you've clearly planned. Your hatred of me is understandable. In your mind, I'm sure, I am the Reaper, who sent your father to the gallows all those years ago. But you're in danger of becoming a far more sinister Reaper yourself. By attempting to have me condemned with this feeble excuse for testimony.
Wait, what if she read it backwards and Jigoku wasn't the victim, the target? What if Jigoku was the assassin and Zeeks is the target? What did you say?
Mr. Naruhodo, this is our chance.
My lord, the defense requested the defendant be allowed to speak. He may be privy to important information relating to the testimony just given by the witness.
Very well. I'll make an exception and grant the request. The defendant may remain in the witness stand for the cross-examination. Then allow me to make a toast to toast the court's impartiality. Don't raise your glass in my direction, sir. Counsel for defense, begin the cross-examination immediately.
At once, my lord.
Hold it!
In other words, it shows that Gregson was basically acting as the Reaper.
Not you and all. That ain't the only explanation, is it? He could have been investigating the Reaper in secret. And that notebook said what he found.
If I may. When originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believed the power to intimidate London's criminal classes into compliance with the law to be beneficial.
But you carried out your own investigations into the true identity of the Reaper, didn't you?
Yes, and those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper.
One arm? What are you on about?
The Reaper's victims were all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. There's simply no way one person could have taken them all alone. The Reaper is an organization.
With you at its head?
I had spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, letting me know when he was elsewhere. So I've been able to check the most recent entry in his book. I knew the location.
You knew it said grouse?
Believing it to be a reference to the Gentleman's Club, I went there on the day in question to investigate, alone.
Oh, so that explains why several members of the club claim to have seen you there.
But of course, the inspector was not there. Because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked in the northern coast of France. As shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk.
Very well then, back to your testimony about the contents of this notebook.
Fine. Something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? You seem a little shocked by something a moment ago.
Oh, no, it's alright. I'm overthinking this, aren't I?
Hold it!
Names of victims, dates, places, and stuff? What in particular?
Well, besides the victims' names, this other name kept cropping up.
Which other name was that?
What's the one I told you yesterday? The same name, written over and over again.
You mean... Assassin?
Yeah, that's the wall. She's a friend of yours or something, is she?
Were you even listening yesterday? Assassin. It's the assassin.
What? Like, a killer, you mean?
Gregson was the tactician, the one who came up with all the plan of attack. He investigated his marks thoroughly, finding out when they would be vulnerable, and when to use, and who to use to get at them. The person actually executing his plans was someone else, you're saying? Well, that's true. Then the Reaper doesn't indeed start to sound like an organized group of vigilantes.
Oh, then perhaps what it's on the passport document.
Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. Could that additional person have been clearly the assassin who was meant to take Seishiro Jigoku's life? Gina, can you confirm that against the final entry that listed Grouse and Seishiro Jigoku? What name was written?
Oh, well, that's the only entry that didn't have a name next to it as it happens.
What?
It just said like a question mark or something like that here, I think.
In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in that case. But Gregson was the one making the plans, was he not?
Oh, how infuriating.
Making the plans but you don't even know who's going to show up. That sounds very frustrating. A nameless assassin? Instead of Asashin, the name should be Nanashin.
Hold it!
And you're saying that the mark listed was Seishiro Jigoku.
That's what I said. Funny name if you ask me. And I thought your name was odd.
So pleased to have lost my crown there. I don't know, when you think about it, his name's actually kind of sick. But if he ends up being one of the bad guys, yeah, it's gonna be a little on the nose. Mr. Jigoku is the presiding judge of Japan's Supreme Court of Judicature. Oh, I remember the man. He came to our country as a visiting student 16 years ago, studying international law and diplomacy under your tutelage, Lord Strongheart. That bearded young fellow was a very reliable man, I must say. So Lord Strongheart was Judge Jigoku's mentor. If I'm not mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago now.
10 years ago, after that fateful case.
Precisely. In the aftermath of the Professor case, his repatriation was organized immediately. It's a mystery why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook. Wasn't he like... Didn't he get arrested for something? He joked about being arrested for something. But like apparently it was a really petty crime. Was he really supposed to be killed over that? And maybe that's why it took 10 years to actually go after him. It's like there was more pressing people. Like he didn't commit a murder or anything like that. He just like he stole something or something. So whatever. So it's like, yeah, I'll get to him eventually. He'll face his punishment soon. Once, you know, I kill all the murderers. Me, the murderer.
I think it was possible, but the mutineers got even worse now. Maybe I'll just keep talking.
Hold it!
What do you mean a criminal? Judge Jigoku is no criminal.
Well, don't ask me. I know nothing about it. Oh, do you remember what Father told us? That Judge Jigoku did once appear in court here in Britain? It's related to the Professor case, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course, you're right. Sashiro was trying to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took to the stand to testify. But he got a little carried away and actually managed to break the witness stand. Yeah, it was vandalism. This man was put in like the Reaper's naughty book for vandalism. He also said some contentious words about the British Empire, for which he was charged. Nah, it was totally vandalism. Bad-mouthing British Empire, nothing compared to smashing a witness stand. That was a pitiful situation, yes. I'd forgotten all about it, but I prosecuted that child too as it happens. You did? It was considered to be an adjunct to the professor proceedings, you see. But he was acquitted after being told to make reparation for the damage caused to the stand. And there you have it. Of what? Surely the accused hasn't forgotten his own rule. That there's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper in court, guilty or innocent alike. What? No! Are you suggesting the recent Judge Shigoku was targeted for assassination? The man was sent back to Japan immediately after that trial, but the Reaper had no time to do his work. But then, 10 years later, the mark returns to Britain once more. Perhaps now you start to see just how vindictive the Reaper is. Over what? Smashing some wood? Come on, that's absurd. To take someone's life for that? Isn't the whole premise of the Reaper absurd? Killing those who have been found innocent? Clearly the rules by which the man operates are beyond a sane person's comprehension. But I mean, it is kind of psychopathic in nature for sure. What? I've had just about enough of this. Gina? All this nonsense about the boss planning to kill people. It's cobblers. Come on, Otto. Yes? Why ain't you saying nothing? Why aren't you yelling out objection or something? What? You gotta find a flaw. You do usually. Someone's lying there, no question. You gotta work out who it is. Please, for the boss. That outburst was an insult to the court in your own testimony. Or might have known that a common pickpocket from the back slums couldn't make a detective. When this trial is over, you will forfeit your warrant card, Mr. Strad. Is that clear? I've had it with all ya. It's lies every bleeding place you look in this world, in it. What, enough? Gina? So have I. After a little speech of Gina's, I've made up my mind. To do what, Mr. Naruto? There's one point in this cross-examination, and something that was said just didn't sit right with me. One statement that seemed odd. Oh, do you mean? I'm not gonna let Gina's plea for help fall on deaf ears. I feel like we skipped some here. I think that was all because of this. That whole tangent split off because of me pressing this statement. Oh my god. Was that the last statement I pressed? Or no, I did. No, there's no way I'm going to be able to see.
Hold it!
Well, let's finish pressing these statements before we start jumping to any conclusion here. And you're saying that the marked list would say Shiro Jigoku. That's what I said. Funny name if you ask me. Or did we press all these and I just completely forgot because of that tangent? Okay, maybe we did do the other ones here. Know about being a criminal, got away from the Reaper in court 10 years or something.
Hold it!
Is this statement new? I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve.
Eh?
What do you mean? Amongst everything we've heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. One inconsistency.
What? An inconsistency? Really, Otto?
I don't quite know what it means yet, but... yes, there's an inconsistency in something that was said by... oh, fuck. We have to go through all that again, and I have to pay attention to fucking Zeke's spiel. What the inconsistency have been in there? Well, okay, there's only like 3 people that talked. There was, well, okay, I guess Hugh said things, but he didn't say anything that could be inconsistent. Zeke said a bunch of stuff. Obviously, she said something, but I don't... is she even in here? Oh yeah, there she is. Shit, I mean, I was paying attention, but not like that kind of attention. I mean, it's like her, him or her, and then Strongheart's also here. It's one of these 3 for sure. Can we see any of it from back here? No, it's too far back. Fuck! I guess I might as well save, just in case, but... is this gonna fail me, I wonder? Okay, I'm trying to think back to what they said. Otherwise I'll have to go through it all again. Okay, so they were talking about what happened to Jigoku the entire time. Or back 10 years ago. And then he came back. But, would the inconsistency wouldn't be the fact that they were on the same ship even, right? Because they were supposed to have been in Dunkirk when Gregson was supposed to get on the ship. I don't know who to pick for this one. I don't think it's gonna be her. I feel like accusing her of lying seems like a bad idea. Was it him?
Take that!
There's definitely something strange about it that didn't add up. No, this is yeah. Okay, so it has to be one of the other 2 because he was in the stand. But there was a lot of people talking during that whole thing. Could have been Strongheart. It's probably Zeke's, though. Okay. Well, that's obviously going to fail us, so we'll just load it again. Then probably Zeke's?
Take that!
No? Then it was her, okay. Oh, maybe. By you, Lord Van Zeeks. Me? What? Your face is turned ashen. How could he know? Is that what you're thinking? If my face is turned ashen, it's because I'm thinking, how could he? I don't know where you're going with this, but maybe the evidence you're obviously trying to show the court will clarify. Yeah. Okay, well, I guess it's her then. What did she say then? Oh, which piece of evidence does this legend say? Oh, fuck. We're onto something here? I don't even remember what he said. Shit, I should have saved here. Was it about, like, going to investigate the gentleman's club called the Grouse? Because there is no... Like, we're just assuming that there's such a place? No, history's too far. This what we're dealing with here is that whole long tangent that came out of me pressing one statement. That's long gone off the history. The only thing that the farthest back we go in history is Gina begging for us to, like, object or something. Meaningless. The only thing I can think of that he was saying was how he went to the Grouse at the Gentleman's Club. Like, apparently that's something we just all know. The only Grouse I know is the steamship, because it's here on this ticket.
Take that!
I don't even know if this evidence, like, thing is on the right track or not. Okay, I'm gonna have to just let it, like, see where it puts me if I fail. And we're gonna have to read that whole thing again. Unless it gets me out of here, but no, I think this is... Yeah, no, I figured. Oh no, he lets me get out of here. Okay, that's good. Okay, he's giving me a second chance. Better listen very carefully to testimony again. Okay. So that's what we have to work with. May help us that Lord Van Zeeks is in the stand too. Yes, perhaps. I'm sure Gina knows nothing she hasn't already told us. There's no point trying to get more out of her. Okay, so even this is like hinting that Zeeks is the answer. Did you notice how Kazuma-sama reacted to Lord Van Zeeks' words? When he called him even more sinister Reaper, you mean? Well, I'm sure Kazuma intends to eliminate any shred of doubt that the man is guilty. He's looking for revenge against the person he considers to be his father's killer, after all. I do worry if we fail to find discrepancy in this testimony somewhere. The trial may end, and adjudication won't go in our favor. Let's listen carefully again to what everybody's saying. Okay, so yeah, it has to be number 4 then. I'm gonna press it. I'm gonna save out here.
Hold it!
Alright, so I think this is the one that went to the whole tangent. Because Jigoku was being accused of being a criminal. And the only thing that we can think of where he might be possibly a criminal is the one time he appeared in court and he smashed the witness stand and also shit-talked the British Empire. And one of those two things is definitely worthy of being a crime. And it's definitely not the bad-mouthing of the country. Definitely. And then he goes on to saying, pitiful situation, I'd forgotten all about it, but I prosecute that trial too as it happens. Claims to prosecute the trial. I wonder, is that what he meant? To be an adjunct to the professor proceedings, but he was acquitted after being told to make reparation for damage caused to the stand. Assuming anyone who faces the Reaper in court, guilty or innocent alike. I thought the Reaper's rules were only to go after guilty people who were wrongfully acquitted. Right, and then he thinks that maybe he went back to Japan to escape the Reaper. That could be what we're going after here. Kingdom's fun. Instant clear the rules for which the man operates are beyond same person's comprehension. Okay. It's not about being a criminal who got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago or something. And then this is the one where we press it, and now we're being asked to say who did what, who said the contradiction. Don't quite know what it means yet. There's an inconsistency in something that was said by... Okay, so it's gotta be Zeke's. He wanted to prove it with evidence. Did he not maybe prosecute that trial? Even though it's related to the professor? I don't see how. And this only just mentioned the Redhead League. Oops. The evidence you're obviously about to show the court will clarify. Which piece of evidence does the alleged inconsistency relate? No. I don't think we really have anything about Judge Jigoku. What's our picture? I mean, there's this picture. Look at print displayed rather prominently inside Gregson's office. Person left is Lord Clinton Van Zeeks. Well, if he was doing the prosecution, that would have been after he died, so that doesn't seem relevant, I would say. So what does that leave us with? In terms of evidence, maybe this is a false lead. Maybe I was supposed to pick Gina. That's just his will. That's Clint's autopsy. That doesn't seem... Which piece of evidence does this alleged K? Where is it? Because it's saying something was said by Brock Van Zeeks. I don't know, it just seems like a joke path. I don't think anything I say is gonna matter here. I don't really know what he would have contradicted. Because if the only thing he was talking about... I can't even go in and look at that... when did we talk about all this stuff? It was one of the presses. Was it the third statement? I don't know. None of this, like... Something related to the old case is probably the answer here, but... No. Fine. You know which statement led to like the 10-minute long sidetrack? Because I feel like that's the relevant stuff here, and I need to go back to it. Was it 3? It wasn't 2. I feel like this present path is wrong, though. I feel like it's probably Gina. I should try Gina. Okay, set gross for name of the place and date and then name of the mark. Okay. Press. Where does this go? Mr. Mark list with Shichio Goku. She's just reading what's in the book. She doesn't know much about it. Then they're like, yeah, he came to England to study law and stuff. I was his mentor. Mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago, yeah, after the case. The case where he smashed the table and got reprimanded for it. See why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook, right. Oh, it's statement 1 that had it? Really? That was the big long tangent? Okay, well, maybe we'll see if any of this is relevant. Shows Gregson's basically act as the Reaper. She's insisting he could have acted as the Reaper. Originally, people began referring to me as the Reaper. I didn't object, right? Thought it'd be beneficial to his career. Yeah, and I think this is the one who mentions the grouse, right? Investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper. The other person being the assassin. And Kazuma still insists that he's part of this group. At spies at the yard, keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, letting me know where he was elsewhere. So I've been able to check the most recent entry in his book. And he knew it said grouse. Believing it to be a reference to a gentleman's club, I went there on the day in question to investigate alone. Okay. I guess that's not really a contradiction. He thought it was a club too. He wasn't there because he was on a steamship heading for France. Okay. I guess we already did the super long one, so it's not going to play it again, so it's probably not as relevant as I thought it would be. But this is the one where he gets suspicious about something being wrong, so it's probably something in here that's relevant. Notebook does have a lot of stuff about the Reaper got up to these past 10 years. Okay, so she says that, but then immediately insists that it was Gregson's investigations into the Reaper. Yeah, maybe I'm overthinking this too now. Maybe that's the contradiction? But I can't present the notebook, it's not evidence. So what would I present for that? In that case. The board? With the newspaper clippings? What was stuff in this case? Oh no, this is where she mentions Jigoku. Oh no, Asashine, yeah. She's probably the assassin. Gregson was a tactician, the one who came up with the plan of attack. He investigated the marks thoroughly, finding out what when they would be vulnerable and who to use to get at them. We don't have anything pertaining to that either in terms of evidence. I don't think. But then postulation about probably taking her with him. Okay, so this was like, can you confirm that against the final entry list of Grus and Sechiro Jigoku? What name was written? Okay. The only entry that didn't have a name next to it. Just had a question mark or something. In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in that case. But Gregson was the one making the plans. So was it not Asashin? Or was it unknown because Asashin was recently killed? And so I was like, shit, well now we need to find a new assassin, quick. Yeah, I'm just gonna check, whoops. I'm gonna check Gina, see if it also lets me present on her. Because then we're definitely gonna be in a bit of a pickle here if I can do both. But if it's for sure Zeke's, then that definitely helps. I don't see what she was saying is contradictory necessarily, unless it's like the first statement to be taken super literally.
Take that!
Okay, yeah, no, this leads to the same situation, so it could be one or the other.
Of course. What's that supposed to mean, eh? Gina, Mr. Naruhodo?
Gina's the person giving testimony here, so if there are any inconsistencies, they can only have been introduced by her. I mean, Zeke's is on the stand, though. I don't know where you're going with this, but maybe the evidence you're obviously about to show the court will clarify. Evidence substantiates this claim. To which piece of evidence does this alleged inconsistency relate? The last entry in the book was about the grouse, but then on here there's like newspaper stuff about the Reaper. And then didn't we prove that he was using the apartment building as a sort of HQ?
Take that!
Nah, didn't think so. Okay, it's gotta be statement 1 because even Naruhodo gets a reaction out of it, so it's gotta be his. I better listen very carefully to testimony again. Okay. It's all about this press. Yeah, so it's gotta be Zeke's because he's in the stand too. Regina knows nothing that she hasn't already told us. There's no point trying to get more out of her. Yeah. So it's gotta be Zeke's. Kazuma-sama reacted to Lord Van Zeke's words when he called him even more sinister Reaper, you mean? Sure, Cosmo intends to eliminate any shred of doubt that the man is guilty. He's looking for revenge against the person he considers to be his father's killer. Yeah. Okay, which statement was that where he calls him that? Was that the first statement as well? No. Was it? Kind of glossed over that bit.
Hold it!
Okay, let me find where that is said, and then that's probably our statement to look at, and we can figure out what evidence from there. don't think there's any contradiction there. We all know that he was going along with the name because it helped his career a bit and stopped the crime better. His own investigations called Gregson an arm of the Reaper. With you as its head. Spies in the yard. Check most recent entry in the book. I knew the location. And it said gross, so we thought it was the club. Even though it was the boat. It's fine. I mean, we don't know about this Club Gross, but apparently it's real. And gets mixed up with the boat of the same name. I mean, could that be the contradiction that he went to the club, but he was actually supposed to be on the boat? It's gotta be like the statement, okay. And then this one was what? Is there anything in here that had them talking with each other? I'm looking for that one specific statement here. So he has a reaction to the name. But there was no name for this specific assassination. Okay, no reaction there either.
Hold it!
Perhaps this one. Mark list with Sashiro Jigoku. Nah, he's pretty quiet on this one too. Okay, so the only other one was this one.
Hold it!
Because the next one is one we need to present. And this is when we get his reasoning for being in court. And it turns out he actually was technically accused of something. Piffle situation, forgot all about it. I don't think that's necessarily a contradiction. I think he probably did prosecute that trial. Yeah, okay, this is where the big one. Surely accused hasn't forgotten his own rule. There's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper in court, guilty or innocent alike. So yeah, he prosecuted that child, so of course Kazuma thinks that since he's the Reaper, of course he would have wanted to take revenge and kill him because he was in there. But that was never the Reaper's rule. The Reaper's rule was the Reaper has to find you guilty despite the fact you were innocent in court. Right now it starts to see. Mark returns to Brandon, see how vindictive the Reaper is. No arguing with him, unfortunately. Okay, so Zeke's said a couple of things then. There's a couple of different spots here. One being this whole thing. He's acquitted after being told to make reparation for damage caused to the stand, which would have, you know, usually attracted the Reaper. Maybe I'm reading too much into this statement here, though. I think I probably am. And then on the first one, just add to the lock-in, and we can like compare and contrast and figure out what evidence we're supposed to present here. Okay, let's see this history here. Let's actually look at this through properly. This is a very complicated step in this puzzle. Okay. He knew it said grouse. So he knew when Gregson was going to be out, so he could have time to look at the book. This is why several members of the club claim to have seen you there. Samuel's make his way to France. Wait, shown by the passport in the victim's metal trunk. But Kazuma said he already saw that passport. Could Kazuma be the answer? Is that even like remotely possible? I know Kazuma said like, oh, you got it. How could you someone make a contradiction if they're not even in the stand? But is it possible it could be him?
Take that!
By you, Kazuma Sogi.
Me? Is this some type of filibustering, Counsel? Prosecutor Soki hasn't given no testimony.
Wait, it doesn't matter. You made a contradiction.
What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent?
You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I present the relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you'll realize what you've done.
Very well then, Counsel. Go ahead. What evidence reveals this alleged inconsistency in something Prosecutor Sogi has said?
Okay. I think now is a good time to save. Because I think this is the real one answer to this. And I think the evidence is the trunk. This is a trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson.
Metal construction, is it? It certainly is very heavy. What's this? A bloodstain? And a relatively fresh one, too.
What? You mean that egg grease from the boss's fish and chips?
Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. Does that suggest that the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed?
That can't be. There's no mention of any trunk in Scotland Yard's report.
Yes, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it.
Well, I found it. Me, with my nose for trouble.
Which means that nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. Yeah, because he also apparently knew about the passport, but the only known copy of the passport that we've seen is inside the trunk. Interesting. And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Kazuma. Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. See, he mentioned the passport once before that too, but he just said, "Well, of course I've seen it before. You know, I'm the prosecutor. Of course I've seen it." You know, he could have also just said, "Well, you know, you showed it to me, so it's here in court evidence. Anyone could have seen that, idiot." But no, he had to let slip that he knew about the metal trunk. We never mentioned the metal trunk or about the passport. We just said his passport. So the question is, how did you know about the inspector's truck? We know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have to put his passport? Any other piece of luggage? A backpack? Maybe in his pocket? Maybe he used it to wrap his fish and chips up.
Objection.
That's a very specific assumption there you made. But you knew it was a metal truck. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On the 31st of October, where exactly were you? At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Gross. Is that the answer you're looking for, Ryunosuke? Kazuma, what did you... Well, at least he's not trying to hide it. I hadn't considered the possibility before, but if Kazuma was there on the ship, then it can only have been for one purpose.
Oh no, Mr. Naruhodo, surely you don't think...
Come on, Ryunosuke. You know the rules. The only thing that really talks in the courtroom is hard evidence. As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took that case with him when he traveled. So as it stands, you've proved nothing. Ah, he weaseled his way out of it. Good job. Kazuma, are you challenging me to prove it beyond all reasonable doubt? That you were there that day, in the same place as the inspector? He was there? With Gregson? There's a clue you've overlooked. A secret that Trunk can tell us. Can't be sure at this point. I'll need to verify it. But I have a nasty feeling that I'm going to be right. Is that where the slash comes from in the trunk? The accusation being made is deeply disturbing, but nevertheless, we must test it. The defense will identify for the court where in the trunk this alleged clue is to be found. Where is the evidence that ties Prosecutor Silgi to Inspector Gregson? Well, we don't know whose blood that is. This is the 1800s after all. But we could maybe perhaps postulate that... Can we open the trunk? As well? I mean, I don't think there's anything else inside, but... Does that make it more easily... That looks like a sword slash to me. Like, there's the tip. Someone just, like, tried to cut through it, like an axe.
Got it.
No, it's not the slash. Damn. I didn't think it was the... is it the blood then? But we just talked about the blood. I mean, I guess it could be the blood. It's gotta be the blood or the slash. Like, what? Or is it the passport? Or is this a trick thing and it's actually the passport all along, but it's the passport in the trunk where it says, I've got a +1. That's not definitive proof beyond a shadow of doubt that that was Kazuma, though. Honestly, all three of the things on that trunk aren't really that. Okay. Well, let's see where this puts me back to. At least we know... did I misclick? Wait, what the fuck is that autocorrect? The hell? I don't think so, because it was flashing. The target was flashing. So I must have been picking it, the right spot. I feel like it's got to be the slash, because like the blood is just there, right? Can we go back to talk about the blood? What do we like talk about the blood? Always took that case with him. Where's the blood mentioned? No, it's too far gone, I guess. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about the blood anymore. Okay. I'm gonna load. Actually, no, I'm not gonna load. I'm gonna see if where it puts me if I restart. With the chest open, it might have selected inside. That's true. Well, hopefully we'll get a couple better shots trying to click on the slash this way than doing the load every single time. So I'll just let it restart naturally. It's probably going to put me a little ways back, but we'll see. Or maybe not. Events to identify the card. Where in the trunk is legend? Okay, so the trunk is 100% correct. It is somewhere on here. I'm gonna try it close. Maybe that'll be better. You might be right. Okay, it's flashing. It's changed. I can click. If I press A, it's talking about the gash. I'm clearly clicking on the gash this time. Does this really prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, though? Yeah, no, it's not the slash. It's got to be the blood, then. I don't think it's a passport. I'm going to be so fucking shocked if it's a passport, because that's like the least hard evidence that it was Kazuma that was with him. There's nothing on there saying it was Kazuma. I'm picking the blood next. It's gotta be the blood. I swear we've just disproven the blood to be anything worthwhile, but how can this prove that it was him, though?
Got it.
Okay, no, then it's definitely the passport. There's only 3 things you can click on the trunk. Where in the trunk this alleged clue is to be found? It's inside, then. The only thing we can click on in here is this. I don't think it's going to be some of these random nondescript objects, because unless it's like one of these up here, but I don't even know what this is.
Got it.
It's not the password. So okay, so it is some random nondescript object then. What the fuck? Evidence that ties Professor Sogi to... Is there even anything else? This is all just the blood. You'd think it would be the sword slash. You'd think it would be... clearly this trunk was the... participated some sort of altercation between the two of them, is my guess. Here's the evidence that ties Professor Sogi to Inspector Gregson. What is it, the latch itself to show who's inside? Is that part of his sword in the gash? The sword broke. Oh, you think there's a different... Was there a shard of metal sticking out? Oh, yeah! There it is. Oh my god. I didn't even, like... I thought that was just, like, part of the metal of the case. Like, from certain angles, it just looks like it's part of, like, the metal... The inside of the metal. Like, it's only painted green on the outside, so the middle... The inside of the metal part of the case would be it. Okay, that's totally it. Is this a different thing to click on, though? You see that? There's something stuck in the side of the trunk there. It's glinting. Looks like a fragment of metal of some sort. I feel like I might have clicked on this during the investigation last week. Now that I think about it. Switch so tightly I can't move it. Well, don't cut yourself. You'd better leave it, I think. There it is.
Got it.
There it is. No, I said earlier that's the tip in regards to the, like, you see how the gash is? Like, the tip of the gash? Like, to me, what it looked like, it was like someone tried to hack at the case with an axe. Like you would with an axe on a tree. The tip here, this is what I was looking at. Where's the case? I was looking down here. I think I did click on this last week. That dialogue looked familiar. But this was what I meant by tip, was the tip of the gash. It didn't look like someone dragged their sword through it. It looked like they just kind of sliced straight into it and tried to go clean through. There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall in the trunk here, like the tip of a blade.
A blade?
Kazuma, slung around your waist as ever today, is the esteemed blade Karuma. Do you mind drawing those swords for us today? Of course it is. Won't you draw it? Here in this courtroom? For all to see? Okay, plot twist. Karuma is going to be in perfect condition because he didn't use Karuma. He used the other sword. We only asked him to draw Karuma. We didn't ask him to draw the other sword. So he's going to draw it. It's going to be perfect shape, and then he's going to just, like, roast us for being idiots. Exercise caution, my learned friend. That man is the son of London's most notorious killer. Bailiff, watch Prosecutor Sogi like a hawk. That won't be necessary. Oh, nope, there's the tip. Gone. He doesn't have anything to hide. What's he playing at here?
Oh no.
The tip is broken. But the fragment of metal from the trunk fits together with the end of the sword. The question of who was there with Inspector Gregson will be answered. Agreed, Kazuma Asogi? Expertly done, Ryunosuke. That's a point to you and well deserved. Do you mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Sogi? Yes, on 31st of October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. So the additional person authorized to travel was me. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. What? He was the Reaper all along. You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? You are following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Jigoku? Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have killed no one. That doesn't answer the question, though. Explain. I accepted the assassination mission, yes. And I accompanied Gregson to Dunkirk. But I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. You were never going to do it.
We can believe Kazuma-sama, I'm sure. After all, Judge Jigoku arrived safely in London the following day.
Yeah, well, what if he's lying about, you know, never having the intent to kill or something? On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Gregson.
We traveled to Dover, from where we crossed the channel to Dunkirk. There we boarded the SS Grouse and made for the cabin deck, as indicated in the plan.
You went to Judge Shigoku's cabin?
Exactly. He wasn't there, though. We decided to wait, but you've already told us you had no intention of going through with it anyway. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life. So I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at a boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning. A boarding house? In Dunkirk? My signature will be in the register book. It would be simple enough to verify.
Then, what became of Jigoku?
Well, Gregson was no assassin, so the mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. He met with the Reaper in that room on Fresno Street to report the failure, causing the infuriated mastermind to pull the trigger.
I like that they're using Van Zeek's silhouette for this.
And end his wretched agent's life. That's the real truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder.
Objection!
But if you did nothing as you claim, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk?
I don't need to answer that. Well, the victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of a Japanese blade isn't relevant to the case. And accordingly, I choose to exercise my right to silence on the matter.
Damn, I didn't know rights were invented in 1895.
Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence.
As you wish, my lord.
The illustrious blade passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. The prized sword's tip has a small piece missing.
We must take immediate action now, to verify whether Seishiro Jigoku remains unharmed.
What? Remains unharmed?
I agree. That should be our first priority. It's recently come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday. How did you... When a foreign dignitary invited to Great Britain goes missing for 24 hours, it's only natural that the question of his safety should arise.
You don't mean to say that you think Judge Jigoku may have been killed?
Well, the Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal, and he has the power to and influence to give orders from the inside of a prison cell. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zeeks?
If I were truly the Reaper, I'd be able to tell you.
Order? Order in the court! Order! We will take an emergency recess for 30 minutes. Now? Guests of the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office. If the man can't be located within half an hour, we will have to assume the worst.
Oh no, not Judge Jigoku.
No one would want to kill a harmless Japanese man who'd only just arrived in the country. Except, that is, for the Reaper, wanting to finish off a mark that slipped through the net 10 years ago.
I would have to agree. Mr. Naruhodo, for the defense's sake,
My lord?
I sincerely hope we are successful. If we're unable to confirm Mr. Jigoku's healthy existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face grave difficulties. Court is adjourned for 30 minutes.
No, I figured they had rights. It was a joke about the 1800s. That's all it was.
Kazuma-sama, the Reaper's assassin. I feel as though I'm in a nightmare.
I can hardly believe it either, but on the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making up stories.
Such a terrible sense of foreboding. Something awful has happened to Judge Jigoku. Then, I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control.
Felt it from the moment I stepped into the courthouse this morning. That strange sensation that we were careering toward a foregone conclusion. Well, in the worst case, might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's anything we can do but wait now. We're out of options.
Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last ear.
Of course. The little Mr. Sholmes doll that Iris gave us. We don't even know what that does. How do we know that's useful right now?
If for some reason you're completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull on this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can.
Perhaps now is the time. What should I do? Pull Harley's ears or not? I want to see what happens. Let's go for it. Here goes then. I'm going to do it. Watch it do nothing.
Good luck, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, no looking back. What? That scream. Sound like Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, where are you? Here, my dear fellow. Here. It's the felt doll talking.
Pull the ears again, Mr. Naruhodo. As hard as you can.
Alright then. I'll put all my strength into it. What the fuck? Please, my dear fellows, you don't need to pull my ear off.
Mr. Sholmes, where are you?
Myself and my trusty partner are presently in the first-class cabin of the SS Grouse. Oh, the SS Grouse looks suspiciously like the SS Buria. The SS Grouse? She left Dover last night, after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. We are currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour.
You've taken a ship to France? I like at no point during any of this is Ryunosuke or Susato questioning the fact that they have a two-way radio. Radio itself has not been invented yet.
Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump the Straits of Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we hurried by cab to the station and by train to the port, in order to board this vessel in time.
So, you mean you've already worked it out? That the steamship was where everything really took place?
Mr. Naruhodo, pray, what is my name?
Sherlock Sholmes, world-famous great detective.
Recited to perfection. Well done.
You're a genius, Mr. Sholmes. That's the only word for it.
Ow, 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 ow! Mr. Sato, gently with this genius's ear, please.
Oh my, I'm ever so sorry.
I like that it just snaps back to his ear. Ah, there you are, Mikotoba. You may remember that it was, in fact, I who made the connection to the SS Grouse. Scotland Yard yesterday when we examined that notebook and I recalled my steamship ticket. But of course it was, my dear fellow. And not once did I controvert that fact. I merely had our court-bound companions under my name. Yes, you did, didn't you? We've just entered a recess. The trial resumes in 30 minutes from now.
And if we're unable to present any new leads then, I'm afraid to say...
Do not fret, please. It is for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I have no doubts that we shall have welcome news for you within the half hour.
Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That would be wonderful.
Until later, then.
Yes, you'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first.
Ow, ow! I shan't be hearing anything if you keep tugging my ear in that mindless fashion. Whatever was the idea behind making a receiver operated that way in the first place, Sholmes? Why the deuce would I know? It's Iris' invention, not mine. Whilst I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes, we have but half that now before the grouse puts to sea again.
If we don't conclude our investigations rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Naples before long. There are times, Mikotoba, when you make a surprising amount of sense. So, let us begin.
And the two-way radio in 1895 goes even further unmentioned. Not even just like a reaction, like, wow, how are we talking to you? How are you in this little tiny rabbit or something like that? Nothing. Just, I guess at this point, maybe Yunosuke's seen enough of his weird inventions to be like, yep, okay, that's fine. Iris just makes crazy magic technology.
First class cabin number 2. Yeah, this is the one. I don't believe an investigation of the cabin is going to be plain sailing. That crewman standing in front of the door is an angry-looking fellow.
Why are you loitering here? Who are you?
Ah, my dear fellow, do you not recognize a world-famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, who are you?
Do you not recognize world-traveling great sailor Chitkin Stroganov when you see?
Great detective, huh? I don't think so.
Do you see that, Mikotoba? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine.
Goodness me! Is that a tattoo that says Sholmes?
I think it says... Sulo 45. It's probably what it actually says.
I must say, with such adoration as flattering, naturally it does leave me a little cold. What are you talking about? Leave! Now!
How distressing. My loyal devotee knows me only by my name and not by my appearance. And yet I already know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he's a shipman. Currently traveling the world aboard a Russian steamship, in fact.
How could you know this?
Elementary, my dear Mikotoba.
Sure it was. 3 days ago, I was bound for London aboard the ship, you see. We're looking for one of my fellow passengers, a man by the name of Jigoku. As there is no one with this name on board. But we know he purchased a ticket for passage. Ah, you mean Eastern man. He left ship 2 hours ago. In Dunkirk. He said something about emergency, I think. What? Are you sure?
So Sesshiro's realized that we're after him, has he? His cabin is the one behind you. We should like to investigate, please.
No! I have orders not to let even mouse inside.
Mikotoba, be a good man and draw the sailor's attention away, would you? Make up some excuse that he leaves the area.
Doesn't great detective see that even sailors have ears? Both left and right.
Curses! The plan is ruined.
And you only have yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Sholmes. Look at it. Cabin door is locked. Even if I am not here, you cannot get inside.
Mikotoba, I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you?
Opening any lock?
Within a mere 5 seconds. So if you'd be so kind as to afford me the requisite time, old friend, in your typically accommodating manner.
How could I refuse such a typically unappealing request, old friend? So I need to distract that burly sailor for 5 seconds, do I?
Good man. So, the game is afoot. Oh, how about this really obvious looking mousetrap down here?
This must be a mousetrap, I think. Perhaps I can distract the crewman's attention with this somehow.
Did he just like catch his fingers in the mousetrap?
It sounds like a big mouse and trap.
Oh, he did it on purpose, okay.
I will bring bucket of water later and put out the misery. I don't like the sound of that.
In any case, my dear fellow, that was quite unconvincing. Only Japanese mice make a chew sound.
Oh, really, Sholmes? And pray tell, what sound do Russian mice make?
PP, naturally, though also quite unconvincing, I readily admit. So go ahead, Mikotoba, do a PP this time.
No, thank you. I'm sure I can come up with an alternative solution. How about the classic? Well, this would appear to be an alarm bell. All hell would break loose if that thing were to ring. The whole crew would know about it. Here goes then. Pardon me in advance.
You! What are you doing? If we were at sea, that would be very bad problem.
What's going on down there? Seaman Stroganov, report at once!
Sorry, sir. Nothing to report. It was just stupid trick. No, not by me. By World Fifths. No! As I told you.
Now, Sholmes, now!
Done. Not even 5
seconds, eh?
But don't stand there copying my brilliance, Mikotoba. In we go.
Oh, yes.
I like this little tangent. Reminds me of Ace Attorney 3. We went and played as Edgeworth for like an hour and a half. Although if they only have half an hour, I doubt we're going to be doing this for that long.
Good gracious.
It would appear that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly.
Those clothes on the floor there. They're Seishiro's, without question.
Well, it seems we are just a little too late.
Yes, by about 2 hours.
Still, whilst we were here, we should investigate thoroughly.
Wait, why was he even on the ship? Was he trying to run from someone? Because, like, I know he went missing, but I don't think there's been any, like, hint as to why he did this. But then they mentioned that, like, they knew he knew they were coming. Which is kind of weird. It's like he must have been running from something.
There may well be 2 hours worth of clues to find in here.
But that burly crewman may return at any moment, Sholmes.
Indeed he may. Which makes this all the more thrilling.
Alright, time to get investigating.
According to the report I was given, Naruhodo was concealing himself in Asogi's wardrobe.
Indeed he was, and it was of a similar size to this one. Ah, you must climb in yourself, my dear fellow.
What? Whatever for?
It was the site of my first fateful meeting with Mr. Naruhodo. You can experience the moment for yourself now, complete with my dramatic rhetoric. Come along now, in you go. This will only take a moment.
Really, Sholmes? Surely you could just tell me what you said.
Well, I uttered some brilliant remark and opened the wardrobe to reveal the stowaway murderer.
I think I'll just read about it in The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes.
Quite the exquisite glass, I must say. See here how it...
Is something wrong, Sholmes? You suddenly trailed off.
Ice, Mikotoba, ice! What opulence the first-class passengers enjoy! Chilled drinks!
Pardon?
Could it be that this steamship is equipped with an electrically refrigerated cold room, do you think?
Well, it is a luxury liner after all. We have enormous refrigerators for storing all sorts of lavish produce as well as ice. On our voyage from Japan, we enjoyed culinary delights from all over the world.
Suddenly, Mikotoba, the sight of you is making my mouth water.
Alright, we don't need to go there. Save that for the next game.
I haven't taken on the flavor of the food I ate, you know.
Yeah, I don't think that's what he's thinking of. That's usually not what that means. There's a speaking tube here. Look. Though it's been stoppered with some cloth. So the voices of the crewmen on the bridge aren't an annoyance, I suppose.
Or indeed, so that the voices in this cabin aren't heard elsewhere.
Could something have happened in here that was for no one else's ears, do you think?
Either that, or it could be to prevent snakes from entering.
That's really become a favorite case of yours, hasn't it? Or cats, you know. Don't want anyone accidentally dying again. These are the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Yeah, after last time. Additionally, there are severe punishments for stowing away in wardrobes and or travel cases.
I feel the rules have increased since I last read them. Probably just my imagination.
What about the fact that they're not straight on the wall? Doesn't that strike you?
You may be right. They're probably just your imagination, though. A trifle.
I mean, maybe the ship, like, suddenly docked somewhere. Kind of like last time. Although those books don't look completely messed up from that.
And you know what I always say, Mikotoba, there is nothing important about trifles.
It's probably just my imagination, but I think that might be slightly off. There's the waste paper basket, look. And there's still rubbish inside.
Indeed? Well, then let us pry. I've discovered recently that I have a penchant for exploring the contents of others' waste paper baskets.
I sincerely hope only for your work.
Ah. Here we have a notice issued to passengers from 3 days ago.
3 days ago? One night before we arrived in London, then. When I was still aboard myself. Evacuation drill notice, 31st of October. Following departure from the port of Dunkirk. Oh, okay. We'll read it later, I guess. Ah, yes. There was an evacuation drill. I remember now. For our safety and security, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watchful eye of the crew. So it was a welcome relief to have some privacy for once. Okay, well now we can read it. Right after we finish investigating, that is.
That's a very sizable trunk indeed.
Sesshido is partial to all things large.
And a rather clumsy fellow if he failed to notice he'd left that behind.
Perhaps he left it on purpose. It's later than you might think, but it's still a hindrance to a speedy escape. But why was he running? We still don't know why he was running, do we?
Pity. It's locked, so we can't look inside.
Surely 5 seconds from now the situation will be quite different, though.
Sadly not. It has a 7-digit combination lock.
I thought you could pick locks.
And I'm not in a morose enough mood to work through all the combinations at present.
That's a very fancy lock, though, I will say. But you just picked the door to the room. You telling me you can't pick that? The trunk locks are like the easiest thing in the world to pick. You don't even need to know the combination.
That's a substantial heap of clothes on the floor. An overcoat, shirts, a dressing gown.
Momohiki work trousers, a Tanzen robe, a Haramaki waistband. Well, clearly the clothing of a Japanese man.
And clearly Japanese men are unaccustomed to the culture of the wardrobe.
Looks to me as if they've been thrown in a heap like that in something of a hurry.
Indeed. You could help yourself to a Japanese men's shirt, perhaps. I'm sure you made mention of packing too few.
I'd very likely drown in one of Seishiro's shirts. No, I'll just buy the extras I need, I think. Plenty of reading material to keep passengers occupied on the long sea voyages. Found the mixture of classical literature and easy reading to be most satisfactory, I must say.
Whoever stocked this bookcase was a hopeless heretic. There's no copy of the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, my dear fellows.
I'm afraid it's just me. But no, you're quite right. More blasphemous than overlooking the Bible.
shall leave a copy behind. I just happen to have one with me.
You're a true missionary of the Church of the Great Detectives, aren't you? Well, a slightly different color here. Do you see?
Indeed. What you have observed arises when a frame that has been hanging for some time is removed. Perhaps your friend is an art thief.
Now there's a bold deduction worthy of the Great Detective, I'm sure.
He may very well be the elusive thief who has been plaguing France's galleries of late.
I think perhaps we should focus our attentions elsewhere, Sholmes, don't you? That outline on the wall. Feel as though I might have spotted something of a similar shape and size elsewhere.
Uh-oh.
You are still here. Ah, Abel Seaman Stroganoff. Hello again.
I was beginning to think you'd never materialize.
You were waiting for me?
Of course. I was expecting you to burst in with a hearty Russian profanity far sooner.
I was in trouble with Captain because of trick you played before.
Poor innocent chicken.
It is all your fault. Ship is leaving port soon. Get off. Now.
Of course, we shall disembark presently, my dear fellow. But first, there is something that must be done.
What are you talking about?
Why, naturally. The debunking of your deceit and the bearing of the truth. I'm afraid I see through your lit eyes. For one thing, Mr. Jigoku has not yet left this vessel at all. And for another, my dear Seaman Stroganoff, you know exactly where the man is even as we speak, don't you?
How can you...
Good gracious, Sholmes, you mean you've worked it out? All of it? It's really been too long, hasn't it, old friend? 10 years, no less. So, would you care to join me for a dance? Of my inimitable logic and reasoning?
Nothing would please me more. What is this?
We have but minutes until the vessel puts to sea. No games now.
I'm telling you, we could make a whole game with these two. That would be great.
Mr. Stroganoff, allow me to remind you of your earlier claim. You told us that Jigoku left the ship some 2 hours ago.
That is what I said.
Sadly, that was a rather clumsy lie. You see, there is something in this room that quite clearly contradicts it.
What?
Ah, yes, of course. I see you've noticed it too, Mikotoba. Then please do take the lead.
Oh, this is different.
What in this cabin shows the impossibility of Jigoku having disembarked 2 hours ago? Let's see what the last 3 years have done to your observational skills then, Mikotoba.
It's been 10 years since we last did this, Sholmes, not 3.
Why, of course it has. Quite. Now, all the clues are here in this cabin for your eyes to see. But as I always say, you must not merely look, but observe. Observe and the answers become clear. So, impress me.
I think I can manage that. Well, it's gotta be the clothes then, no? Oh no, it's the ice. The ice hasn't melted yet, meaning it was just poured. So someone has to be in this room.
Take that!
Perhaps you should have cleared away that glass.
Curious that the ice shouldn't have melted despite it being abandoned 2 hours ago. It would appear that the man was here in this very cabin until moments before our arrival. With this well-chilled glass in hand.
Get your mind off the refreshments, Sholmes.
One might even conclude that somebody informed him of our boarding. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Stroganoff?
But why would Shishido run from us?
Before we consider that question, allow me to confirm one small matter. Would I be correct in saying that these first-class cabins of the SS Grouse are the same ones in which you and Mr. Jigoku were accommodated on your voyage from Japan?
That's right, they are. I was in the cabin next door and Seishiro was, yes, 50 days in this very cabin during our voyage.
As I suspected. For you see, there are traces in this cabin of a dark secret that Mr. Jigoku had to hide.
What traces?
I know nothing about this. Ah, this is news to you, is it, Mr. Shogunov?
Jones, what exactly are you getting at?
As I said, there are traces in this cabin of some nefarious activity. Something that appears out of place, which I'm quite sure won't have escaped your notice. Something out of place.
Something out of place here?
That's the key to this, Mikotoba. The remnants of the dark deed that took place here are being masked by something quite incongruous.
Arsène Lupin reference? What, the tap dancing?
I should probably read some Sherlock Holmes stuff one of these days. Because I wouldn't get any of these references.
I must say, I didn't foresee ever doing this dance of deduction with you again, Mikotoba.
No, quite. But life is full of unexpected twists and turns, as we well know. Now then, let's see if I can uncover the truth here.
Yes, you have the floor, my dear fellow.
Okay, well, the rules of passage, right? Dark deed took place here being masked by something quite incongruous. Okay, so it's gotta be this side then.
Take that!
It's the rules of passage in this frame here. They're obviously out of place. The way they're hanging crooked on the wall, as if they were put there in a hurry.
Yes, as I'm sure you've already concluded. That frame was originally over here. The shape and size are a perfect match.
You are right. When did the flame move?
Hardly the most observant of crewmen, are you, Mr. Shogunov? I would think your captain is quite justified in having his reservations about your reliability.
Oh dear, that really seemed to touch a nerve.
So, Mikotoba, why don't you lift that frame off the wall?
Oh. That looks like a bullet hole.
What? Who has been shooting the walls?
I see, the projectile has been removed. Clearly, the careful occupant of this room has already disposed of it. Now then, Mr. Shogunov, I have the distinct impression that you're attempting to shield said occupant.
I don't know what you are talking about. Why would I try to protect Eastern stranger?
Ah, so we're talking about the same man, I see. Good. I'm sure we can get to the bottom of this in no time, aren't you? Because there's some very noteworthy evidence that explains the reason why you're lying for the man. Yes, you've been told to hold up to keep up this pretense.
Really don't know how to approach this one, Sholmes.
Ah, my dear Mikotoba, simply keep first principles in mind. Study your subject from every angle. And I'm quite sure that you'll see it. In fact, I'd put a wager on it.
So I'm to glare at the fellow from all sides. Well, I can certainly do that.
Wad of banknotes? Oh, fuck. Well, I can't, like, click on things to check them out first. Well, my first thought would be the tattoo, right? Explains the reason why you're lying for me to keep its pretense clear. So, right. Okay, well, it's got to be the bribe then. Let's start with the bribe.
Take that!
It's almost too obvious for words.
Quite. The universal language of the world. Money.
And I'd wager the Eastern fellow in question is Seishiro Jigoku, yes? So, I presume you realize what this means.
There are clear signs that a crime has been committed in this cabin. And the way you're going, sir, you'll find yourself accused of being an accomplice.
But
I believe you know, Mr. Stroganov. You know where Mr. Jigoku is hiding at this precise moment in time. As always, Mikotoba, in matters of deduction, the furtive glance is your unfaltering ally. Yes, I think you're onto something there, Sholmes. You found the chink in this burly fellow's armor. We need only follow the man's gaze to know where our prey is hiding. The slightest flicker of the pupils, a minutely delayed blink, nothing escapes my attention, even that which is barely perceptible. You could hardly call this barely perceptible, Sholmes. Man's turned his entire head. It's not exactly what you describe as a furtive glance, is it? It's almost too obvious. We shall let your tapping toes decide, my dear fellow.
How is he in the trunk? Like, I can't wait to see this one here. I was thinking like he'd be in the wardrobe, you know, little reference back to the case 1-2. It's like, okay, it's kind of big enough. I could see Jigoku hiding in the wardrobe. I can't wait to see him come out of this.
You turned immediately to look at his large trunk, didn't you? The truth is, Seishiro Jigoku was unable to escape from the ship in time, and is at this very moment doing his best to stifle his breath inside this trunk.
If he still has a breath to take, I fear he may be running dangerously low on air.
Hmm?
Well, I imagine he didn't count on us making a nuisance of ourselves for quite so long. I think it would be in everyone's best interest for us to open the trunk as quickly as possible.
But how can we? Are you forgetting about the combination lock? We don't know the 7-digit code.
The combination lock can't be opened from inside the trunk. Therefore, there must have been an arrangement for somebody to open it after our departure.
Of course.
In short, before Jigoku hid himself inside that trunk, he must have told somebody the 7-digit number for the lock.
As I'm sure you can confirm, Mr. Stroganov.
no, I know nothing about combination lock.
Don't move a muscle, my good seaman. Now, Mikotoba, would you do the honors and open the trunk?
How on earth do you expect me to...
It's a 7-digit number, remember? Quicken now, we have little time.
Review scene. Okay, so 5631045. Oh, it goes up to 5. Oh, I guess that's a 2 then, not a 6. What's the E? Is that supposed to be a... It's not 6. It's not 0. Okay, the last digit is a 5. And then a 4. And then a 0. And then a 1. And then a 3. And this has to be a 5, right? Or is that a 2? No, that's those are 5s, right? The S would be a 5. Yeah. No, because the 2 would go the opposite way. I'm looking at my keyboard right now. So, then, what the fuck is this number? I think the M is a 3. I don't know what else that could be. Is the E supposed to be a 2? I can kind of see it. It kind of looks like someone did like the really swirly 2. Where in like one stroke where it kind of like loops around. Those really messy 2s. Okay, it's probably a 2. 5231045.
Take that!
Oh, did I get it? Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And what we find inside but a corpse. That did it. It's open. Oh. Hey, it's fine. Old Houdini made it out alive. Well, Eugene, you found me now. Zero. I was really hoping beyond hope not to find you here, you know? But you're not entirely unsurprised, I take it. No, quite. I just wish it were some other way.
Well, are you ever going to introduce me?
Ah,
Your reputation precedes you, Mr. Sholmes. I've read stories of your exploits.
excuse my manners, Sholmes. This is Mr. Jigoku, my old friend and traveling companion.
The devil is in the details, Mikotoba. I believe you meant to say your old friend and traveling companion, who made the cowardly decision to flee the country without a word to anyone when things turned sour.
I see my reputation precedes me as well. What an honor. Well, Sashiro, are you going to explain all this?
You know it all by now, I imagine.
What you didn't know, of course, is that 3 days ago, on the night before our arrival in Britain, an attempt was made on my life here on this very ship. By the Reaper of the Bailey. Yes, I've since heard. Because you were once prosecuted by the Reaper, weren't you? 10 years ago now, mind you. And I had no idea at the time what a dangerous individual he was. Anyway, when we arrived in London to find the symposium was postponed to goodness knows when, it became all too apparent to me that I might very well be targeted again. So you decided to flee the capital without saying a word to me about it? I am afraid so, yes. Of course, I realize now that I really ought to have confided in you. What is?
Well, first-class cabins aboard luxury steamships are in very short supply. It's more than a little hard to believe that this one just happened to be available.
So says the protagonist of some colorful short stories. Well, I don't care for your opinion.
I appreciate that his like beard has like actual proper collision and physics on his chin. Like anytime he bends his head, it's like actually it doesn't just clip through his body.
The cabin did just happen to be available. So I purchased a ticket and here I am. I've just seen for myself the obvious remnants of that incident in this cabin. So you had already purchased your ticket before we even docked in Dover, had you? Prevent anyone else from taking this cabin and seeing the evidence. Is that it?
Eugene, I have nothing to say to you.
Well, in a mere 5 minutes, this ship will set off on its onward voyage and not make port again until Italy. I'm afraid we must insist that you disembark with us at once. You have no jurisdiction over my movements. We have this, Shishiro. Take it. What is it? It's a subpoena from the Old Bailey. You're a man of the law. You know what the ramifications of ignoring a document like this from the British courts would be. You came prepared then, Eugene. Come on, let's go. One moment. What is it, Sholmes?
Inside Mr. Jigoku's trunk, I found this rather fascinating trinket.
What is that? Sashiro? I can't help you, I'm afraid. Some small component from something. But what? I have no idea. By look on his face, I think he genuinely doesn't know.
Well, let us pocket it as a small souvenir of our brief sojourn in France.
Small machine part that Mr. Sholmes found in Judge Jigoku's cabin on the SS Grouse.
Wouldn't that be the That kind of looks like something you'd put on a pocket watch. That looks like the tip missing from the pocket watch. Although, then what would that'd be kind of weird though, considering they used the tool to wind the pocket watch last stream. Well, young Naruhodo, I think we've done as much as we can, I'm afraid. The rest will be on the shoulders of you and your assistant. Kazuma Sogi. I know you, and I know you wouldn't lie, but still, there's no doubt that you're holding something back. You know more than you're saying.
During the past 30 minutes while this court was adjourned, all possible efforts were expended. But sadly, Mr. Jigoku's whereabouts could not be ascertained. We must accept the unfortunate conclusion that the Reaper has already done the deed. There's no sense in wasting any more of the court's time. The prosecution calls for an immediate verdict.
Objection.
No, the trial cannot end now.
You're a Japanese man, Ryunosuke. You should know when to lay down your sword. And you should know never to presume when the battle is won. The court has already been presented with all the evidence and heard all relevant testimony, and there can only be one conclusion, that the accused is guilty.
All relevant testimony? Far from it. There's still a crucial witness, from whom the court is yet to hear a single word of testimony.
In that case, call your witness to the stand at once, counsel.
Yes, my lord. Tomorrow, if possible.
The witness is already on his way, and scheduled to arrive tomorrow.
Who on earth is this crucial witness?
Sashiro Jigoku, the very man allegedly murdered by the Reaper.
Judge Jigoku? You found him? But the investigation of every policing resource in the capital suggests that Jigoku is already dead. How in the name of God did you find the man?
He was located in France during a recess, at the port of Dunkirk. Thanks to one of Mr. Herlock Sholmes' famous deductions.
Herlock Sholmes?
Inspector Gregson almost certainly met with Mr. Jigoku on the night of his death, because along with Prosecutor Sogi, Gregson was on a mission to assassinate the man. Which means that Seshiro Jigoku is the sole witness who can clarify exactly what happened aboard the SS Grouse on the 31st of October.
Well, it would appear that it's too soon to move to adjudication at this point.
The prosecution concurs. The court must hear Mr. Jigoku's testimony. No judgment should be passed until all testimony has been considered.
In that case, I hereby call the end of today's proceedings. Court will reconvene at the same hour tomorrow. No objections from either side.
No, my lord.
No objections, my lord.
We live to fight another day. By the skin of our teeth. To be continued. Now the question is, how long is the next chapter? This is case 5, so I'm expecting it to be insanely long is the problem. So part of me wants to save it for the next stream, being the finale and all. Feels like it'd be an okay point to stop. Because depending how long it is, I'm sure we'll get a nice, huge stream out of the next one. But I'm worried it would be, starting it now would be a bad idea. Because we'd probably be here for like the next 4 or 5 hours. Next section is short, about half an hour to 2 after or longer. It's only about half an hour for the next chapter? Like to the next to be continued? Okay. Alright, if you're saying it's short, I'll take your word for it. Are we doing investigation? Or are we doing going straight back into the trial? Okay, hang on here. Yeah, if it's an investigation, I do trust those to be a little shorter than the trial sections. So, in that case, yeah, we can definitely continue. The unexpected hall of proceedings sent a clamor around the courtroom. But outside the Bailey, where Londoners knew nothing of the secret trial within, it was a typical still night. Then, at a little past 8 o'clock that evening, Mr. Sholmes and his partner returned to Baker Street. Whoa! I'm still expecting Jigoku to be assassinated here. Like, I cannot see him living to this court, to trial tomorrow. Yeah, it said investigation, but I thought that was just the save file from, you know, those two doing an investigation. We have returned, my dear fellows. Welcome back to Britain, and thank you for your timely help.
Think nothing of it. I believe you have an even more weary day than Mikotoba and I knew.
Yeah, you could say that. We were on the brink of defeat in court earlier. Okay, we'll play out this investigation section for sure then.
So this prosecutor Asogi had you on the ropes, did he? And he's your best friend, you say?
Well, he's not really the man I knew in Japan anymore. Kazuma's changed.
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo.
I mean, it's incredible to think that he'd even entertain the idea of acting as the Reaper's assassin.
Well, nevertheless, you must introduce me. After all, I've only ever met the young man as a corpse.
When all this started, almost a year ago now, Mr. Sholmes still hasn't told us the truth about what really happened back then. About the motivation for what he himself described as a great detective's lie.
Now then, I must say, it's really quite a journey all the way to France.
Well, it is another country, Mr. Sholmes. So, what news of Judge Jigoku?
We took him to Scotland Yard. The investigating detectives there have a lot of questions for the man. Well, hopefully he's safe there. Hopefully Kazuma doesn't kill him while he's there. Poor Professor Mikotoba. It's actually quite a shock for him.
Ah yes, I picked this up at the telegraph office on our way home.
What is it?
Surely you haven't forgotten already. I put upon you for the matter only yesterday.
You put upon me, Sholmes. Had to fill your telegram to Japan and foot the bill as well.
Oh, you've had a reply already?
What was so urgent though, Mr. Sholmes? Such matters can only wait till later. I'm far too hungry for an involved conversation at present.
Well, that's good news, because supper is ready, everyone.
Ah, and what a feast it is! If I were none the wiser, I would think the trial were won already. Roast beef, kibbers, skoo, stew, steak, and kidney pie. Yorkshire pudding.
Tomorrow could be a very long day, so eat up.
In that case, I think I'll seat myself just here. This place appears to be the only one set with a helping of pheasant as well.
Oh, sorry, Hurdy. Not there.
Why ever not? Are we in the set places this evening?
Yes, and that place is for Susie's daddy.
For me?
That's right. I made it especially for you, Professor Mickey.
I see. Well, that's terribly kind of you.
Wasn't it we kind of deduced that he's also kind of her dad last time?
It's a shame, really.
What do you mean?
Well, for a brief moment, I believed it. That Susie and I were half-sisters, I mean. Iris, do you mean... Yes, I know now. I overheard yesterday. I secretly listened to the conversation you had after I tricked you all to think I had left.
I can't believe she's done this. A misunderstanding arose because of that autopsy report from 10 years ago. But actually, it turned out that neither Dr. Wilson nor Professor Mikotoba are Iris' father.
Yes, about that, Iris. You know I know. You can't tell me at the moment. Oh, Iris. The pheasant is by way of an apology. I'm sorry for eavesdropping.
Oh, no, that's quite alright.
Then why don't I get my apologetic pheasant?
So just who is Iris' father? I suppose that's not something we'll be finding out today.
So then, let us dine while our largely pheasant-less plates are still piping hot.
Fine idea, Miss Holmes. It all looks absolutely delicious.
Eat as much as you'd like. There are always seconds.
So two big questions I have left then are, who the fuck is her dad? And why the hell have we been using the same 5 jury members over the course of the last 10 cases? Let's give you our last chance to ask questions before tomorrow's trial. About that telegram from Japan, about Kazuma. Can't let this opportunity slip away. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Had too much to eat? Drink?
Surely it's abundantly clear that I wasn't brooding over Mikotoba's refusal to share his pheasant with me. Nevertheless, I felt the need to withdraw from the social circle for a while and look on with hungry eyes.
Sorry, Hurley, but I cooked that pheasant especially for Susie's daddy.
Even though I've played the role of father to you for far longer.
Mr. Sholmes, could I discuss some things with you?
Certainly, my dear fellow. I find myself quite in the mood for a spell of conversation. And no doubt, you're hungry to learn more of my deep love of game.
I could probably contain my curiosity on that one.
You needn't look at me in that fashion.
In what fashion?
It seems that before we discuss the pheasant, we have some rather unpheasant matters to discuss.
So, what was in the telegram you received back from Japan then?
This, I think my lucky stars had arrived in time. Record founders indicated duplicate fellows. K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson.
What? Those 4 names?
You've come across the exact same list before.
Yeah, back when Susato was leaving, right?
It came up in that unforgettable case last spring.
What appeared to be a simple case of aggravated murder turned out to be a masking monumental intrigue. A plot that involved the sale of British governmental secrets to foreign states. Exposing the means by which these secrets are being leaked, we deciphered a fragment of a message. K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. We didn't find the names out until the case was over, and we never did get to the bottom of what they meant. All we knew was that the information had been sent by somebody in the British government to somebody in Japan. So, why are the names coming up again now?
Yes, where did the sender of your telegram discover them, Mr. Sholmes?
I have here the message I had wired yesterday. Allow me to read it for you. Enter Judge Jigoku's office undetected and investigate telegram records. Expect to find communication from Britain dated 1 year ago. List of 4 names. Need by tomorrow. Naruhodo. I sent it to a detective I know who specializes in clandestine missions of this nature.
U.S. Inspector Hosonaga to undertake such an onerous task for you?
And in my name? Wonder what guise he opted for this time. My dear fellows, it was a matter of great urgency, you might understand. Anyway, the list of names was found in Seishiro's office, as Sho was predicted. So you mean that mysterious collection of names that was sent from Britain to Japan was...
It was sent to Judge Shigoku. He was the intended recipient.
I don't believe it.
But that doesn't answer the question of what the list of names actually signifies.
I did formulate a hypothesis about that. But without a shred of evidence, I couldn't possibly have shared it.
My first thought was assassins, but one of those persons killed one of the other persons on that list, so that would be kind of weird. Mr. Sholmes looks deadly serious for once. That tragedy we had to go through on the SS Buria. It's all for nothing. Kazuma wasn't dead at all. We were completely taken in by the lie you told us. Your great detective's lie. There's no shot Iris and Kazuma are half-siblings, right? Yeah, it sounds like it's probably not, but I'm surprised too, because like the implication was that the handwriting was Mikotoba's. And that handwriting is what Iris used to deduce who her father was, because she saw the handwriting on different documents, and then one of them was signed as Wilson. So she thought she was a Wilson. But then it turns out Wilson only signed a document but didn't write it. It was Mikotoba who wrote it. And therefore it's like, okay, well then Mikotoba's the dad. But I guess it turns out that just because the papers were here doesn't mean that they were her dad's and to begin with. So I guess her dad's just a complete mystery now.
I took no pleasure in deceiving you. However, at the time, all that concerned me was preventing the young man's study tour from taking place, whatever the cost. What? I capitalized on the events that transpired to see that he was sent back to Japan.
His remains, you mean?
Precisely, Miss Susato. And then, I made sure that somebody else was sent to Britain in his stead.
Oh my, you mean...
The arrangement between our two countries was already in place. One university student lawyer and one judicial assistant to be accommodated on a study tour. In other words, by arranging for someone else to fill the place originally intended for Mr. Asogi, I would successfully prevent the man from arriving on our shores for several years at least.
Wait, do you mean to say that it was all in aid of stopping Kazuma coming to Britain? That's why you...
Think back, Mr. Naruhodo. Was there not somebody who quite casually urged you to continue on the voyage to England? The terms of this study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. In the light of Mr. Asogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer and the study tour can continue, surely.
But there's no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer.
The voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer.
So, you manipulated me?
I've often remarked at the extraordinary lengths to which friendship will drive a man. I was quite sure that you would rise to the challenge for your late friend.
I don't believe it.
What if it was all contrived? I mean, what happened was treated by the authorities as murder. A woman was mistakenly arrested as the perpetrator. What do you suppose became of her?
Well, naturally, I didn't allow the misapprehension to have any serious repercussions. I subsequently explained everything and assisted the unfortunate soul in finding the foreign refuge she sought. I seem to remember Miss Susato and I had some rather strong words for her. Well, she was certainly not devoid of all guilt, or she deserved every word, I'm sure. And if she made it to America, then...
I'm afraid I simply cannot comprehend it. Why would you go to such lengths, Mr. Sholmes? Why were you so determined to stop Kazuma-sama from reaching Britain?
The truth is, 12 months ago, there was already a very tangible omen of the impending tragedy, you see. An omen that at this very moment in time is close at hand. An omen of all these tragic events that already existed a year ago. It's close at hand? We need to find out exactly what Mr. Sholmes knows. So I have to present something related to it? Following departure from the port of Dunkirk, all crew members are required to assemble the main deck at 10 p.m. in order to review evacuation procedures. Drill will take 20 minutes. Crew to resume duties as soon as drill is over. Okay. Is the sword what I'm presenting? Karama, the great blade. Such a thing of beauty, I want to gaze on it for hours. The tip of the great sword, broken. Such a shame. It's been so meticulously cared for over the years. You can almost hear Karama's sobs. Kazuma must have really taken a swing for that to happen. What do I present here? Where is this? Already a very tangible omen of the impending tragedy. Is it... Wait, do we have the telegram? We do. Record found as indicated, duplicate follows. Yeah. Is this it? This has to be it. There was no room for doubt with your instructions in this telegram, Mr. Sholmes. You were very clear that it was Judge Jigoku's office that should be searched. So, you obviously knew that's where the list of names would be found.
K. Asogi, A. Sheen, T. Gregson, J. Wilson.
We only learned of these 4 names just over 6 months ago now, and only because they appeared as part of the top secret government communications that were leaked. That's true, yes. But at the time, you were unaware of the background. You see, those 4 names were wired to Japan. Around 6 months before that, approximately this time last year in fact, when you were both still in Japan. It really would be hypocrisy on my part to reprove others for intercepting state secrets, because after all, I'm perpetually eavesdropping on communications between British and Japanese governments. You're perpetually doing what? How? And never mind the details, but you should know. No secret is safe from Herlock Sholmes when he has designs on knowing it. You just admitted that to like a couple of high-ranking, or at least like Mikotoba here being high-ranking Japanese judiciary people. I forgot Jigoku wasn't here. That's a little brazen, I'll have to say.
Oh my, Mr. Sholmes, what a fabulous line.
Now, 1 month after that list of 4 names was wired to the recipient Jigoku in Japan, Dr. John H. Wilson was murdered. As soon as I learned of the incident, hypothesis rapidly took shape in my mind. As it turned out, I was partially correct and partially mistaken.
Nevertheless, it was the beginning of all that the tragic events that were to follow.
Mr. Sholmes, please, tell us all you know. Tell us about these 4 names and the tragedy of which they're somehow connected.
As I said, when I learned of Dr. Wilson's murder in Japan, my mind immediately turned to those 4 names. Because you see, there was someone else on the list who I believed to be recently deceased. What? Who? A Shin, as it was transcribed in Japanese script. In actual fact, Miss Asa Shin. Well, that was a familiar name to me. She was a professional killer, well known among London's unsavory classes. Oh, I see. But she had completely vanished from existence several months before Wilson's murder. So I came to the logical conclusion that she had herself been killed. And accordingly, I became fearful for the lives of the remaining 2 persons on the list.
Kyosogi and T. Gregson.
Owing to our proximity, I decided to take measures to protect Gregson myself. But I determined it would be safest if young Asogi were to stay away from Britain.
Oh, so that's why you went to such lengths to prevent his study tour from going ahead.
Exactly.
So he was afraid. So after hearing about Asa's death, he wanted to make sure that he thought, okay, well, as long as he stays in Japan, he'd be fine. But since he started coming to Britain, he was going to become in the same territory as Gregson. Therefore, whoever's over here trying to kill Gregson might also try and pick him off too.
So, you already knew who Kazuma-sama was, Mr. Sholmes.
Oh yes, Sholmes and I have exchanged correspondence for years. I'd recounted many tales about Asogi to him in my letters, and the news of Dr. Wilson's death, of course.
Nice. Good. Now just put that Oni open there. You know, rip that band-aid right off. The band-aid, the hair, the skin underneath it. Yeah. Just take that right off.
So, Dr. Wilson is dead, then? I didn't know. Oh, Iris. I know he wasn't my daddy, but still, that's very sad. I'm so sorry, Iris. We knew the significance of the name, obviously, but we just couldn't bring ourselves to tell you. No.
But what you just told us, Mr. Sholmes, doesn't completely tie in with the facts. There's one big hole in your hypothesis.
A big hole, Mr. Naruhodo?
Ah, yes. You mean about Asa Shin, I presume.
Oh, of course.
Exactly. She wasn't killed, was she? She was in Japan, posing as a visiting student under the assumed name of Giselle Brett.
I'm glad you're keeping up, my dear fellow, but I only became aware of that fact 2 days ago in the foyer of the Great Waterloo Hotel. And upon hearing that startling revelation, the hypothesis I'd formed surrounding those 4 names was completely turned topsy. What? Topsy?
What do you mean when you say your hypothesis was turned topsy, Mr. Sholmes?
I had believed that all 4 names on the list to be names of victims. However, I was mistaken.
Very much so. Asa Shin was a killer. So this telegram is a list of both victims and killers, is it?
Indeed, and it would seem that Miss Shin was dispatched from Britain with the sole intention of dispatching Dr. Wilson. Her visiting student status being merely a front.
Oh, okay, so top line was assassins and then bottom line was their targets. That makes more sense.
Which would of course explain why no motive could be determined for her actions.
So the real reason Dr. Wilson was killed by Asa Shin is because he was the target of an assassination.
And forearmed with that knowledge, fresh consideration of this telegram puts the list in a very different perspective.
What do you mean?
Well, does it not strike you there is another among the four who subsequently became a visiting student?
Wait, you mean...
But of course, a name you only know too well.
You mean Kazuma? He did say in court earlier today.
Yes, on 31st of October I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. Young Mr. Asogi has accepted that mission a year ago now.
Surely not.
In conclusion, this document is a contract of sorts, an international agreement, one might say, detailing an assassin exchange.
An assassin exchange? How could Kazuma possibly have gotten involved in something like that? I mean, maybe because his dad was a killer?
Let's assume that we have two parties, each wishing to dispose of a distinct individual. These two parties then make a contract to swap their respective assassination targets. That would then be an assassin exchange.
So to begin with, the British assassin is dispatched as a visiting student in Japan, where she kills her target. And then the Japanese assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Britain in order to eliminate his target. Certainly does sound like an exchange.
But what on earth is the point? To create discourse between the two countries? Someone clearly, considering the targets, someone clearly wants to incite a war. Don't forget, Mr. Naruhodo, that the British assassin at least escaped conviction. Thanks to diplomatic immunity afforded by consular jurisdiction. Oh yeah. Such jurisdiction should be null and void under the terms of the new treaty between our two countries. So, the fact that it was brought into play suggests intervention at the very highest levels.
Highest levels?
These murders were two sides of the same coin, linked not by a common motive but by a contractual agreement. As such, they appeared utterly unrelated. Yet in truth, the assassins were complicit in one singular devilish scheme. That dissociation and the safeguard of diplomatic immunity were, I believe, the motivation behind this plot.
But wait a minute, Sholmes. Well, if this telegram really is describing the exchange of assassins as you're suggesting, it would mean that the Japanese killer's target was never Seshiro Jigoku at all. It would mean Asoki's target was actually Inspector Gregson.
What?
Kazuma was here for Gregson? So Judge Jigoku wasn't actually the mark.
Yes, that's exactly what it would mean.
Then why go after Jigoku?
I hold myself personally responsible for failing to keep the inspector safe.
Mr. Sholmes.
So does that mean Kazuma might have killed Gregson after all? If that was his actual mark? Was Jigoku just something he made up or like tricked Gregson into going through with? But like the evidence seemed to point to the idea that Gregson was also involved in this whole thing.
I told him of my fears and implored him to seek a transfer to an overseas position.
Hence the France thing with Gina earlier.
Obviously with the young pickpocket in tow.
Yeah, Gina. Come to think of it, Inspector, Gregson did mention that to us on the Great Exhibition. That he'd been transferring to the Paris police and taking Gina with him.
But without informing me, he engaged in one last assignment, it seems. And sadly, it turned out to be his very last.
This is too much to take in. Yeah, this is obviously the mission that was imposed on him, so I guess the on-the-nose, super obvious choice of who the real Reaper is actually was the Reaper. It was right there. The moment they revealed his name, it was super obvious. And part of me was kind of hoping that wasn't going to be the case. But I guess it turned out that, yeah, Jikoku was judge, jury, and executioner, as suggested by his name. I mean, to be fair, it's a pretty clever name on its own. It would have kind of fit as a judge's name in an Ace Attorney game, especially one that's like set in Japan. But given the plot, yeah, it was a little on the nose, a little too much, a little too obvious. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong still. Maybe somehow it isn't him, and he's completely innocent in this whole thing.
All right, everyone. That's quite enough of all that serious talk for one day. Isn't it, Hoodie? I mean, look at the time.
Quite right, Iris. We must conclude our preparations for tomorrow.
What preparations? Well, I think I shall make my way back to my hotel room now. This has certainly been a night to remember.
It is a little bit sad, though. I mean, I like the idea of you being my daddy. Because then, Susie and I would have been my big sister.
I'm sorry, Iris. Are we going to actually get a conclusive answer to who Iris's father is then? We killed off her first fake father, immediately denied her second. I feel like it's pretty late to find a third. Because if we don't, it's going to be a cliffhanger that we're never getting a conclusive answer to. Like, let's be real here. If we get another Ace Attorney game, the chances of it being the Great Ace Attorney 3 are, like, nil.
I know, Iris. I was thinking quite the same thing. Were you? What if somebody like me would be worthy? I would be delighted to become your sister. What? Really? Oh yes, without question. So, you'll teach me all the ways you know to throw Bruno to the floor? Yes, yes, of course. It would be my pleasure.
You didn't have to agree quite so readily.
Oh, but wait a minute. If Susie's gonna be my big sister, you could be my big brother too if you want, Reno.
Huh? I mean, yes, of course. If you'll have me, I'll gladly be your brother.
Well done, Iris. We must always be mindful of feelings. I raised you so well.
Because being sensitive to your strong suit is your strong suit, naturally.
Right, I'm going to work extra hard for tomorrow now, because it's for my big brother and sister.
What is all this talk about preparing for tomorrow? Preparing what?
You'll just have to wait and see.
Oh.
Good luck in court tomorrow. I'm expecting a sterling performance.
I'll do my very best, of course. So, the overnight break in the trial's proceedings became a crucial turning point. Exposing new truths while posing new conundrums. That list of 4 names on the telegram in Judge Jigoku's office. And the extraordinary assassination plot in which my best friend had somehow become involved. I felt as though I had been plunged into an even greater darkness all of a sudden. But at the same time, I felt sure I would see the light again soon. Because I was lucky enough to have the most wonderful family in the world standing steadfastly behind me. Okay, well, despite it being called an investigation portion, it definitely was, and I'm glad we continued. But now with the presumably final day of court looming ahead, I think that is a perfect time to stop and pick it up in our can only possibly be the finale of Ace Attorney. Well, I say finale, but we'll probably, knowing how this will likely go, we'll probably do one more stream afterwards with some bonus stuff. But at least the finale of the main game part. Hopefully all of our burning questions will be answered. What's Jigoku's role in all of this? Is he actually the Reaper? Is there something more to it? Maybe we'll find out why or how Kazuma got himself involved in all this. Perhaps even find out why it was the same 6, 7 jury members for like every case in the game. Because they keep pointing it out. Like, I would have never even like considered it as something important if they didn't keep mentioning that it was weird that they kept getting the same people over and over again. And not only were the same people, but they were also people directly involved in the case. There has to be a reason they kept saying that every single time it happened. What else was there? Maybe Iris's dad, because that seems to be a big point of the plot too. I feel like at this point it'd be kind of weird if they just sort of dropped as like, well, I guess we'll never know who her dad is. I feel like that'd be a really flat ending if they don't answer those questions. I'm sure we'll get to see Jigoku at least. I think the first couple of those questions will definitely get answered. It's the other ones that I'm a little worried are probably not important enough to be answered, but also then would be disappointing because I bring them up so often, right? But who knows? Maybe, you know, it's case 5. I'm sure there will be plenty of time to answer everything. And we will discover those answers next time on the finale of Great Ace Attorney 2. And basically the finale of the series at that point. It's been over 2 years. We started this back in, I think, April, late March, early April, 2024. We started playing Ace Attorney 1. So I think this is up there with Kingdom Hearts for like longest stream series on the channel. I don't know what else I could possibly play that could top this, to be honest. Like, I've got a few things in the works lined up, but they're nowhere near as long as this. We're not talking like a 13 game epic like these two series. And I can't think of another series I could play that would be like this, unless I start picking up some like crazy RPG anthologies or something, which don't think I'll be doing anytime soon. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the finale. Hope everyone else is too. In the meantime, that'll be it for today. We will. I'll be back Thursday, most likely with some Rhythm Heaven, not Banjo-Kazooie. Figured I might as well stream it. I've been wanting to stream a Rhythm Heaven game for a while, but I don't really have too many of them to stream. I got the DS one, and I've got the 3DS one. But I figured, you know, if we're going to stream any of them, might as well start with the new one. So I'll probably stream that Thursday, and then Minecraft will hopefully continue as normal. I don't know if it'll be a full playthrough, but we'll at least check it out. I'm planning to do at least one stream of Rhythm Heaven. So that'll be this Thursday instead of Banjo. Banjo will likely resume next week. And yeah, next week we'll also have the finale of this. We'll finish off case number 5. There is some extra stuff I want to do after case 5. So there's likely going to be one more stream of Ace Attorney after that. Because I would imagine that the finale of this is going to take most of the usual stream time, if not more. It's going to be a meaty stream. Case 5 series finale, like, that's got to be some heft. Final Fantasy, no thanks. Already doing that on my own. It's taken me years to play through everything. And that's only playing the numbered stuff. Not a terrible idea, but I don't know. Those games are not... I prefer... When it comes to RPGs, I like enjoying those on my own time, most of the time. There's not too many RPGs I feel like are worthwhile for me to stream. But maybe I'll make an exception at some point. I just don't know what it would be with. I mean, technically we've played RPGs. We played Mario and we played Pokemon. So those are 2 series I'm willing to stream. But anything outside of those 2, I'm not sure what I would do. I haven't really felt like most of the time RPGs don't really mesh with streaming for me. Well, and Pokemon adjacent. I've also streamed Pokemon-like games, and probably will continue to do that at some point in the future. But anything outside of that Yeah, I'm not really sure. Yeah, I'll admit I have considered Chrono Trigger because I actually haven't played Chrono Trigger, so you probably don't. There's probably not too many blind playthroughs of Chrono Trigger these days. I have actually not played through that. But the thing with like RPGs, actually Chrono Triggers, this is probably not a good reason for not streaming it because I have played a little bit of it. I played some of it, but not like a ton. That one does work pretty well. There is very little grinding in it, and that's like usually one of the concerns I have with like streaming RPG, especially older ones. They usually are pretty grindy, and that gets monotonous. I don't mind doing that on my own time. Doing it on stream time, I feel kind of that doesn't sit right. So, but Chrono Trigger, yeah, it's a not 0% possibility because it isn't very grindy because of the way the battle system works. So I don't know. I mean, it's probably some sort of RPG I could play. Maybe playing through like ones that I've played before would be one thing, because at least then I'd know how they go, and I know how long they are and what to expect. It's more so playing ones I haven't played before, where I'd be a little concerned about the format and everything. But yeah, that's like the one thing I've been carefully considering is the one genre is RPGs. Anything else is like pretty free game that I'd be willing to stream, but yeah, RPGs are the one stickler. So I don't know. I mean that you know, there's probably another series out there, Rival. I've already got something in mind following this up. It's nowhere near as long as Ace Attorney, but I've already got something in mind. And then Professor Layton's been another thing people have asked for. But even that's only like 6 or 7 games compared to how many have we played of this? Like 12, 13 games? Depending how you count it. So definitely a lot longer. Like that's why I consider this and Kingdom Hearts in the same ballpark, because this is like over a dozen games. And everything else I've come up with is like, well, this is only like 5 or 6 games. There's no way it's going to be as long. But, you know, that's stuff for the future. For now, this will be it for today. I think that's a good place to end it. So I hope everyone enjoyed tonight. Very excited for the finale of this. I hope we get a very good, conclusive ending, because the story has been, honestly, doing it over 2 games like this has actually worked very well compared to trying to fit everything into one. And even if Case 4 was kind of weird with how it like split itself up, I think it was actually kind of smart for plot to do it that way too. But honestly, the way everything kind of connected here was pretty good. And who knows, maybe it'd be kind of cool if maybe the reason we haven't gone to Ace Attorney 7 anytime soon is because they're planning a whole trilogy in a similar vein. I can only hope that that would be the case. You know, have like 3 games that all have like a connected storyline, like a properly thought out storyline. And they're all like important to each other, kind of like these 2 games. I think this is a great way to do it. So maybe that's why we haven't seen any Ace Attorney yet, is because they're planning a whole set of them. So I can have like an actual plot instead of like haphazardly trying to throw them together, like with the transition from 4 to 5 to 6. Let me if you count late. Okay, so yeah, 11 games. Still, that feels pretty long. I mean, how many Kingdom Hearts games were there? Like, we had 1 the 2 DS games. That's 4. We had 2. We had PSP. We had 3DS. That's 7. We had 3. I feel like I'm forgetting something in there. I said 3DS already. What's 3? Is that really it? Oh, then we had 0.2. That counts. That's a game. And then we had... Well, we watched that movie. So that was 10 entries. Okay, so I guess only 10 games so far, but I'm counting 12 because there's 2 I haven't streamed yet. No, there's 13. 2 I haven't streamed yet, but then there's also the rhythm game. So that's 11 that we've played of that so far. Actually, so yeah, you're right. It's like almost equal. But there was 2 Kingdom Hearts games I have not played yet, and I will get around to them once we get a more concrete release date for 4. Because you bet I'm going to be streaming 4. So, yeah, very, very equal in size. But everything else that I've like come up with, like Layton only has like 7 games. and we've already streamed the crossover. I'm not streaming that again. So there's only like 7 games in that series. 8 soon. And then like there's a couple other ones. They're like, okay, there's 2 games, 3 games. You know, nothing is compared to Ace Attorney and Kingdom Hearts so far. Yeah, I said PSP. That's BBS. So yeah, no, that's everything. I guess there was fewer games in Kingdom Hearts. It felt like there was more games in Kingdom Hearts than there actually was. I guess I was off on my counting on that one a little bit, but there's still technically 2 other games I haven't streamed yet. I need to figure out what I'm doing with those because they're the fucking mobile games, and God knows they're important to the plot, so I have to do them at some point. I mean, they're basically visual novels now, so it's probably not going to be that bad, but I don't know what exactly you've done to them for offline mode, and I need to figure out a good way to actually capture those things, because fuck Android emulators, they suck at the best of times and are like absolutely miserable at the worst. So if I can figure those out, then yeah, those will happen whenever we get a release date for 4, which probably won't be for a while, because they have FF7 Remake Part 3 soon. Anyways, we're going to end it here for now. So, albeit, like I said, I'll be back with probably Rhythm Heaven on Thursday this week. No Banjo-Kazooie. But otherwise, everything should be normal for the next bit. So, thank you all for watching tonight. I hope everyone enjoyed. And I will see you next time.